decision-making. Former Member of Parliament Lindiwe Mazibuko, now part of the Eminent Persons Group guiding the process, says criticism from delegates is an important part of the journey.
So their cynicism is valuable, it's important, it's feedback and we must use it. But the process hasn't begun yet.
With the steering committee expected to be appointed in the coming days, community-level engagements will roll out in all 4,000 wards across the country. These will feed into a second national convention designed to consolidate South Africa's path forward. Munke Zikoko, Eyewitness News.
And US President Donald Trump is expected to host his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky today for their first meeting since the pair's heated exchange in the White House earlier in the year. But this time Zelensky is bringing European allies with him, including NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer. The leaders are expected to discuss how to end the war that has been ongoing for 3 years between Russia and Ukraine. Today's meeting follows Trump's summit on Friday with Russian leader Vladimir Putin that resulted in the US president dropping a demand for a ceasefire and instead calling for a permanent peace deal. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio told CBS News that any suggestion Zelensky might be bullied by Trump into accepting a peace deal is a stupid media narrative.
There is concern from the Europeans that President Zelensky is going to be bullied into signing something away. That's why you have these European leaders coming as backup tomorrow.
But that's not true. They're not coming here tomorrow to keep Zelensky from being bullied. They're coming here tomorrow because we've been working with the Europeans. We talked to them last week. There were meetings in the UK.
Gold is trading at $3,343.37 an ounce. The rand is at 17.58 to the dollar, 23.83 to the pound, 20.57 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.78 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays already on the M1 North. This is between the N12 exit towards Xavier Street. Please be on the lookout there while traveling on the Golden Highway. Some delays approaching the N1 coming out of Union Avenue. This is due to long-term roadworks taking place along this route. Please be on the lookout there.
And in your sport, little-known Premier League law sees Crystal Palace miss out on shocking Chelsea in the Premier League. Wallabies win a first test in South Africa against the Springboks in 14 years. And six-time MotoGP champion Marc Marquez finally gets a Grand Prix win in Austria.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng, Johannesburg starting at 9 degrees, peaking at 21. Pretoria 8 and 22, Vereniging 10 and 20. The top story in EWN this hour. Some community leaders in Soweto say there are no plans to cause any disruptions today after tensions reached boiling point when an Uber driver was killed outside Maponya Mall.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Gauteng's greatest awards at 702 and Yoko. Let's celebrate excellence, one vote at a time. Go to primediaplus.com now to vote for the finalist that makes Gauteng feel like home.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
7 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast. We're coming to you live from our Sandown studios. My name indeed is Bongani Bingwa. I'm not alone. I'm with an entire team of colleagues. Amuramila, you're looking fresh and well rested. You look like you had one of those do-nothing weekends.
Yeah. Well, although you can't do nothing when you have children, especially small children, but I did have a good weekend and I managed to rest a little bit. Orlando Pirates almost made me not to enjoy my weekend, but Asikolapo, we made it anyway.
Ever ready to put me in my place, eh? Hey, Muteo? Well, if you've got small kids, you never quite do nothing.
Some of us have things to do.
I love it for you, for me, but I do have small kids. I'm busy. Booked and busy. How was your weekend?
A lot happening. I went to a braai, watched the Boks lose, spurred on Pirates, which is it was a great game for me.
So you don't look fresh and rested?
No, not at all. I did it all.
But Rachel Kolisi took the swasho for winning.
The magic.
Oh, gosh. You have to laugh at times, right? Because what is he going to do? Are you going to cry about it? Tell us about your weekend, your sporting weekend. What were you up to? Do you have small kids? Did you attend a kiddie's birthday party? Was there a significant milestone being marked in your family? Maybe a wedding? Maybe an unveiling? How was your weekend? Did you national dialogue with your people? Let's talk.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
6:09. South Africa being South Africa at times leaves you just gobsmacked. The story in the Sunday Times yesterday, there's nearly 500,000 of us who are still awaiting new driver's license cards because, we've got one that's been in operation for 26 years and every now and again it falters, does it not? So officials of the Department of Transport put out a tender, a bid, if you will, for companies to come forward and try and solve this problem. One of the ones that was foremost in the running even took some of these officials to France to say, look, this is what we're doing with the technology we're offering you. Come and see what we're doing in France. And off the officials went and they all came back and they were really, really impressed. And they said, this is the one. Hey, KG. They even approved, when a KG, a budget that was over 400 million rand more than the proposed one initially. But this being South Africa, of course, there's a twist to the story. You know what the twist to the story is? The machine they went to go see in France is a different machine. The machine they were supposed to see operates in the Czech Republic and Greece, I think. The one they saw in France is not the one. So of course the Auditor General says these guys should have been disqualified outright. The organization Undoing Tax Abuse is fighting this issue. We'll speak to Advocate Stephanie Fick about. I love Muteo. He gets crushed. He's such a believer in South Africa that whenever you tell him these stories,
It's my country. What do you expect me to do?
It's a pity the camera's not on you.
There's no other place.
When you are shaking. Shake your head like you were shaking it before and you say something. I feel like the people on YouTube, at least watching us streaming, must be able to see this head shake of disbelief. All right, this national dialogue, it's begun. You heard Lindu Mazibuko in that clip in the Eyewitness News saying the cynicism is welcomed, but this thing is moving forward. We're going to speak to one of the legacy organizations that was first to pull out. This is the Mbeki Foundation, not the patron himself, but we'll speak to Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi, who is the chairperson of the Mbeki Foundation, about why it is they still believe this wasn't what it was supposed to be this weekend. We had secured former Minister Rolf Meyer as one of the attendees, and he pulled out late last night. And so my ace producers are working furiously behind the scenes to come up with just as important a replacement to be able to tell us the other side of what transpired this weekend. And I have full faith in Ropfiwa and Bapelile to come up with a new name for you. All of that happening after 7 o'clock. They are, of course, shaking their heads and they're wagging their fingers at me. How dare I expose them on air like that? But it's called pressure, my darlings. It's called pressure. And then the legendary play Woza Albert takes to the stage in Pretoria once again. That's on our menu.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
All right, quick question for you. We'll take your answers on 072 702 1702 via voice note. Feel free to call us on 011 883 0702. I've got a really great question for you, Muteo and Amo. Is there something about which you hold such key differences, either with your spouse or a sibling or someone close to you, but you will not be convinced one way or the other about this issue? Now, it could be a fun one. You support Pirates, your husband supports Chiefs, or Muteo, you're an Arsenal fan, and she supports Chelsea. It could be a sporting difference. It could be Mercedes versus BMW, right? It could be something a little bit more serious, whether to use the naughty corner as a form of discipline or Smacky Sam. Do you remember Smacky Sam?
No. What is Smacky Sam?
Smacky Sam. So I got married to a single mom when I, was married, and she used to use Smacky Sam, which was a wooden spoon with a smiley face on it, and whenever he was, in error, she would convince him of the error of his ways by using Smacky Sam, and she would have this whole conversation of, now, Mummy does love you, but what you did there is wrong. So Smacky Sam has to come in. And then afterwards, she'd give him a hug.
I know you don't believe in.
No, that stopped immediately.
Yeah.
That stopped. Smacky Sam was banished to some dustbin somewhere. And we were all happier for it, by the way, for a different choice. Do you have different approaches in how you discipline your children and how you raise your children, what you allow your children to have or not to have, with people that are close to you? So these could be siblings, this could be your spouse. What are those key differences, and about which neither side seeks convincing? Mutel?
Various ones. Which way the toilet paper faces. It could be
those first fights when you come back from honeymoon about how to squeeze the toothpaste.
Yeah, no, those are major ones until we reach a compromise and we reach an agreement. But
okay, now how you answer this will determine your longevity on this show. How should the toilet paper face?
Front facing.
So you roll it down?
Yes.
Good man. Good man.
I don't understand any other way.
Okay, good man. Understood.
Yeah.
Same page. Right? Because even in the hotel, that's how it faces.
Yeah, it's folded nicely for you.
It just has that little triangle.
Yeah.
And the toothpaste, you squeeze it from the bottom, not in the middle.
There are monsters that just squeeze it from anywhere. It's just...
Only when there's only the smallest bits left.
Yeah.
But then again, the top is the bottom at that point, I suppose. Thank you. We're all friends.
These seem like very
Crucial
small
things.
things, but they're
very big.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
It's 6:15. Community leaders in Soweto concerned still about the situation in Maponya Mall. Another e-hailing driver, of course, sustained gunshot wounds last week following the murder of one, and residents in the surrounding area are saying the mall needs to do more as far as security is concerned. We'll keep an eye on that story.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the
16
talk.
after 6. Mutel, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning, what's the thing, brand or company that you thought will always be in existence that doesn't exist anymore?
It's not so much that you always thought they'd be around. The question never arose. You couldn't imagine a world without CD shops or even CDs, right?
Wow.
If you are me, because that's why we spend so much money building up collections, because it never occurred to us
that there would be a different
I know.
Video town.
How would you have explained in the year? I was gonna say 2010, but I suppose because the iPod was already out. It was the iPod. Yeah. So that should have been a sign, right? But in 1999, come on. We're going to live in a world in which music exists in the cloud?
I think we all thought we were going to have the best music collections.
And for all to
display.
see. For all to see.
But the furniture also came with CD slots, right?
That whole thing. Yeah. Used to go to the Randburg waterfront.
I mean, I was saying to Amo, Fridays weren't the same as soon as those Video Town stores closed, because you used to hire movies out, play them at your own house. Streaming was not even a thought.
Guys, I still have my DVD player. Amo, what was that thing for you?
Definitely the music stores as well, because, and also they made the collection physical. When you had that collection in your house, you felt it. This is because we would also save up to buy those CDs, you know, and now you just download at a click and it's done. You
know what streaming has done? It makes you forget songs. Because unless it's in your current playlist, it's not front of mind.
It just jumps
Whereas
around.
when you would walk past your CDs, you'd be like, let me go to the Z section or the V section.
But people also don't listen to bodies of work anymore. It's just singles now.
It's 18 after 6.
702.
Weather.
What conditions can you look forward to on this Monday morning? Well, for Gauteng, it's going to be a partly cloudy day. Temperatures peaking at 21 degrees in Johannesburg, 22 Pretoria, and 24 for Vereeniging. Bombela and Bloemfontein both max out at 23 degrees. Your high in Durban and East London is 25. It's 24 in Durban and 20 in Cape Town.
EWN Traffic.
18 after 6, this Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. Amma, what are you seeing?
Well, in the city of Tshwane, we've got some delays on the R80 East Mabopane Highway towards Eskom-Patlele exit. Peak time delays there. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South leaving Centurion towards Midrand. There's queuing traffic on the Mark 1 North. This is now in the south of Joburg in the Omondi View estate. And this is the delays are between the N12 exit and Xavier Street off-ramp. I'll have more traffic updates for you, but if you come across anything else, we're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance pointsmen know that every car on the road carries a story. Like a man wearing his finest suit on his way to an interview. He's prepped 100 times, but he still has butterflies. The Outsurance pointsmen know it's not just a car in traffic. It's a potential lucky break that could change someone's life. Every story's different and every story matters. That's why the Outsurance pointsmen have been doing what they do since 2005 in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
When you're uploading massive files, does it really matter what your internet's download speed is? With business class internet, you get a connection that's as fast going up as it is down. Your company deserves business class internet because just reboot the router isn't a business strategy. Find reliability at vodacombusiness.co.za. Together, let's build the extraordinary. Further together, Vodacom Business.
For those 2 a.m. checkouts or the late night shift. For the last minute orders and the beginning of the month rush. For the 9 to 5 that becomes a 5 to 9. You don't clock out, and neither should your payments. Pay fast by network, always open for the dreamers, the doers, for you. From e-commerce to in-store payments and business funding, we have you covered. Sign up today at payfast.io.
Smart Steve from Momentum, hello.
Hey, Smart Steve, Amir here. Listen, man, I got a problem, right?
Okay.
My little princess is turning 18, and now she's got a license and a boyfriend. And you know what these roads and young boys are like at night. Y'all check.
So you're worried about her safety. Just add it to the Momentum app so she can access help 24/7 with Momentum's safety alert.
Is that the emergency response version of Curry in a Hurry? Listen, man, Steve. Does my Momentum car insurance give me that?
For sure. Once she's added, she can get help at the touch of a button, no matter whose car she's in.
Free? Mahala? For all that and all?
Yes, for free. Your peace of mind and her safety at no cost.
Oh, Steve, one last thing. Does it come with a boyfriend ejector seat?
Not yet, but I'll mention it to the team. Visit momentum.co.za to get a quote. Momentum Insure, keeping you safe on your journey to success. Momentum Insure is an authorized non-life insurer and FSP. Standard SMS rates and T's and C's apply. FSP 22789.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
What happens if that mall increases their security, makes it impossible for an incident like what happened? What happens then? Are these guys going to say, oh, well, we're not going to do it anymore? You got the whole road network out there where they can shoot, attack, burn, do what they want. So it's nothing to, well, not say nothing to do with the mall, but I mean, come on, man. Are the people that short-sighted?
Well, I think it's at least a start because these guys were shot at the mall. It might be more difficult, presumably on the open road, to determine where this car came from originally. I take your point. Without serious law enforcement on some particular routes, yeah, maybe they'll be able to stop them. But I would think as a start, what you certainly don't do is nothing, right? We're now having conversations, and we've had this, we've spoken about this before, where taxi operators think they have the right to pull out passengers in private vehicles because unless you're the one behind the wheel or a member of the family, they think someone is taking their business away. I mean, the entitlement is absolutely astounding. But once again, what happens? Those in authority look the other way.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
Do you have serious differences with siblings? Something about which you just don't see eye to eye. I mean, it doesn't have to be that serious. It could be as simple as who gets the last slice of cake. Whose turn is it to wash the dishes? Is it Chiefs versus Pirates? Marmite versus peanut butter? Rules for Crazy 8. Is J jump or jiga, which means reverse, right? When you're playing Crazy 8. Pepsi or Coke? Android or iPhone? Tea or coffee? Netflix or Showmax? I have a friend. She'll kill me for saying this. So her younger sister, they're all sisters, right? And they all decide to go on holiday with their families, and they book these big holiday homes. And so the younger one arrives first with her husband. And she automatically wants to fall in line in terms of the hierarchy of the family. And her husband says, "No, sweetie, we got here first." She says, "Yes, I know, but Usi needs to get the bigger room." And he says, "Why?" She says, "No, but he's like, "No, she's not my Sisi. We got here first. We're going to take this big room, the bigger, better room." And it was so hard for this woman, but she had to get used to that idea because she was so easily in line in terms of the family hierarchy. I remember thinking it was such a lovely story. Things you need to know at this hour, 24 minutes after 6 o'clock. The Y20 Summit, part of South Africa's G20 presidency. So you've got all these different summits for business, for entrepreneurs, and now they're doing one for the youth. And it starts today, and the Premier of Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi, will open it. And it's setting the stage for youth voices to push key policy matters on the global agenda. I always think, where do they find these youths? Are they not at school? Are they not at varsity? They're attending Youth 20 summits. Hey? You get a summit. Everybody gets a summit. They're going to have a Church 20. And LGBTQ 20. Or am I just too cynical? The US president, as you heard in Eyewitness News, is going to be hosting a bunch of European leaders. Essentially, Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, today, coming with some support. We understand the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer will be there. The French President Emmanuel Macron is also going to be at the White House, trying to work out the next steps following Trump's meeting with Vladimir Putin on Friday. Adam Gilchrist has an interesting story. So in Britain, classic dishes, puddings like sticky toffee and apple crumble, are expected to disappear within the next 50 years. Research is showing just 2% of UK households still make homemade puddings daily. 62% rarely ever do, and the decline is sharpest amongst the youth. And it made me think, is there a food you grew up with? Maybe your grandmother or your grand auntie could make it and it was absolutely fantastic, but your kids have never tried it because you don't know how to make it and nobody around you knows how to make it, and 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now it will completely have disappeared from menus. The appeal over the burial of former Zambian President Edgar Lungu is back in the North Gauteng High Court today. The family is challenging the ruling that his body must be returned to Zambia for a burial. And finally, it was on this day, 1949, Adi Dassler officially registered this company, Adidas, after a bitter falling out with his brother Rudolf, who went on to start Puma. That feud sparked one of the most famous rivalries in sportswear history, and it didn't just divide the family, it split the entire hometown, I'm going to say this wrong, of Herzogenaurach in Germany. The town became known as the town of bent necks because neighbors were constantly looking down to see, are you Adidas or Puma? Or is it Puma? Is it Puma or Puma? Puma! If you're an Adidas fan, you might say that.
702.
The newspapers.
Very good morning to you, Fraser-Zulu.
Good morning, Bongani.
Let's look at what's dominating the headlines in the newspapers. The front page of the Sowetan. Maponya taxi shooting, bullet lodged in survivor's jaw. Family recounts how the teacher and e-hailing driver came under fire in last week's attack at the mall. The Business Day is looking at the national dialogue, and they're also looking at how jet-setting ministers in the GNU have racked up an estimated 273 million rand in travel costs. This is since the start of the 7th administration, and they're saying this is going up by 10 times the usual rate. With all the tariff talks, of course, and trade negotiations, you can see why ministers have been racking up air miles. The Citizen, not national, no dialogue. Key players absent from the national dialogue. But Fraser-Zulu, you've got a story you'd like to focus on?
That's right. Page 6 of The Citizen this morning. Imagine having a boss who does not support you and subsequently calls you lazy, but you don't have the necessary support. This is what's happening in the Northwest, where the Education MEC has criticized the teachers there of being lazy and incompetent. And she said that they should basically shape up or ship out. And after those comments and that statement, the teachers took to Twitter and basically defended themselves and said, how do you expect us to be competent when you do not give us the necessary resources or aid us with the necessary resources to do our work? So there's this to and fro between the MEC and the teachers in the Northwest. That's the story in page 6 of The Citizen.
All right, those are the newspapers.
EWN Business.
Tara wants to know about those brands and companies we just never thought would go away. We always thought they'd be there, but they're no more. What prompts the question, Mateo?
Bongani, Murray and Roberts, a name once synonymous with South Africa's major development projects, is being liquidated. The iconic firm says it will accept liquidation proceedings instituted by one of its creditors. The group informed shareholders on Friday that a creditor had initiated liquidation proceedings at the Gauteng High Court of South Africa, seeking a final or provisional winding up order. The firm primarily owes money to consortium of South African banks, including Absa, FNB and Standard Bank. They also have outstanding debt to funders and unsecured creditors, including former employees and smaller suppliers. MNR has been reducing its debt with the banking consortium from approximately 2 billion rand to about 409 million rand, which it plans to pay in January of 2026. Now, founded in 1902, the company was behind the construction of some of the country's most iconic buildings and landmarks, including the Carlton Centre, Sun City, the Greenpoint Stadium, and the Koeberg Power Station as well.
Gosh, man. I mean, you knew
all that work.
Was it golden or yellow board with black
yellow
and white
black
with
board,
black writing? Wow, that is a real shocker. Mateo, where's the rand?
Rand at this hour, 17 Rand 56 against the US dollar, in a good position this morning at 20 Rand 56 cents against the euro and at 23 Rand 80 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $3,349 an ounce, while platinum is at $1,337. Brent crude at $65.87 a barrel. More business after 7.
Time now for latest eyewitness news. Fraser-Zulu, what is Floyd saying?
Well, the convener of Maponya National, Bongani, says it's all or nothing at the 2026 local government elections as he wraps up the consultation process in KwaZulu-Natal. Shivambu met with Maponya volunteers in Durban yesterday, where he reiterated plans to turn the consultative process into a political party. But he says he wants an in-house labor union, civil and civic society organizations and NGOs to be part of the Maponya movement. Shivambu's attempts to make inroads in KZN comes after he was expelled from former President Jacob Zuma's MK party, which made a massive sweep of voters at last year's general elections. Shivambu says he has big ambitions.
And contest elections not just for the sake of contesting. Contest elections with the aim of winning all the elections.
Gauteng Agriculture MEC Vuyiswa Ramokgopa says legislature is needed to stop food waste as South Africa and other African nations grapple with food security. According to Agri-SA, South Africa discards a staggering 10 million tons of food each year, and this waste comes at a significant cost amounting to an estimated 61 billion rands annually, making food insecurity worse. Ramokgopa says not only is food wasted, but all the energy and input required to grow, package and transport the wasted food is lost.
Food waste is actually, it should be a crime as far as I'm concerned. And I'm talking about not rotten food. I'm talking about food that is perfectly healthy to eat that just gets chucked in landfills because it's not being bought.
Some community members in parts of Cape Town have been left shocked following the surge of gun violence in recent weeks. 13 people were killed due to ongoing gunfights just last week. A primary school in Lotus River was also asked to close its doors early following threats on a WhatsApp group that gang members were targeting school children. Cape Flats Safety Forum chairperson A.B. Isaacs says the crisis of unlicensed firearms on the Cape Flats is alarming.
This takes us back to a situation 2017 where firearms got stolen out of Mitchell's Plain. 2023 firearms again got stolen. At this stage, as the Cape Flats Safety Forum, we don't know how many of those firearms have been retrieved and how many of those firearms are still in circulation. So hence we are calling for the probe to be split up.
And dozens of people are still missing after a boat accident in Nigeria. Officials say the boat carrying about 50 people capsized on Sunday morning while ferrying people to a market in Soweto State. 10 people have been rescued while 40 are missing. Boat accidents are common in Nigeria's poorly unregulated waterways due to overcrowding and poor maintenance, particularly during the annual rainy season when rivers and lakes overflow. Last year, at least 16 farmers died in a similar accident when a wooden canoe carrying them across a river to their rice fields capsized in Soweto State. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures are at lows of 8 and 10 degrees, peaking at highs between 21 and 22.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 South between the Brakfontein Interchange and Olifantsfontein Road. There's also queuing traffic along the N3 North between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road. Those are peak time delays.
The top story this hour, Floyd Chivambu says it's all or nothing at the 2026 local government elections.
Life is full of moments. Some are small.
Surprise, I got you a matcha latte.
Some are big.
Surprise, we're having twins!
For all those moments, there's the new Haval H6 SUV with a spacious interior and voice command. It's built for big moments. Get it from only $6,699 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Change is an unannounced visitor. It can derail you or delight you. It's pushy, inescapable, intriguing. Change is motivating. Change is action. Change has places for you to be. Change is opportunity. We always have our door open to it. For over 3 decades, we've been committed to seeking out the best investment opportunities for you, wherever they may be. 91. Investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
Meet the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, re-engineered to be our thinnest and lightest foldable yet. Move with confidence, powered by an ultra-sleek, ultra-slim design that adapts wherever life takes you. Open your world to expansive screens, seamlessly crafted for work and play. It's innovation that fits your pocket. Upgrade to the new Galaxy Z Fold 7 and get double the storage on us. Hurry, offer ends 31 August. T's and C's apply.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongos. Morning, Mapelin. For me, it's my kids. My kids cannot stand Mpoko Namas. They can't stand it. I don't know why, but they can't stand it. And I love it.
Good morning, Bongani and team. Great show as always. I'll remain anonymous for this one. I think for me, the biggest issue where siblings can differ, maybe we are still staying at the same house, is like when it comes to the issue of religion, where one will be calling themselves the staunch Christian, and then the other one is where we are Twasa or Sangoma to be, and then you should see how the two play out. Thanks, guys. Keep well.
All right, we're talking about two different things there. Adam Gilchrist has a fascinating story about things like apple crumble no longer being a staple on many UK menus, particularly at home. And I was asking you, what's that food you love, you grew up with, that you just know is dying a quiet death because the next generation doesn't like it, you don't know how to make it, firstly. Umpogotko, you can still be lucky. Remember the pap making machine from Business Ignite?
Mm-hmm.
That's apparently available at stores like Macros. So if you can't make umpogotko, that will sort you out. But I know, absolutely, my kids don't like green nyama.
Oh, okay.
You know,
tripe.
They're like, no, sweetie, we're not here for this.
And you liked it growing
Love
up.
it.
You still love it?
Do, absolutely. Not all of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's bits I like and there's bits that maybe are not so ayoba. But in general, I'll eat it. My kids, nowhere near green nyama. They don't want themselves. The other one, we're talking about the foundation or the formation of Adidas and Puma by two brothers who had a sporting company and had such a bitter fallout that both of them went and started their own individual brands, and it set up a long-standing rivalry that continues to this day.
Yo, Bongani this weekend, Proteas lost, the Box lost, and then Driekus du Plessis also lost yesterday morning. So I'm pretty sure someone told them what we know. So now, hulle weet nou wat ons weet from Rustenburg.
Morning, Bongani and the rest of the team. Yeah, it was one hell of a sporting weekend. The Proteas lost, the Springboks lost, Driekus du Plessis lost, but at least a little bit of shadow of doubt. The Arsenal was able to beat Manchester United at Old Trafford, so at least that brought some light to the end of the tunnel after the whole weekend. But yeah, anyway, great show. Thanks, Bongani.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira is looking at all of this and thinking, well, what do they need me for?
100%.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? What do they need me for? But before we get into the sport, those serious differences. And it could be about something as simple as the rules of Uno. Right? You're playing Uno, you've got your own set of rules, and somebody says, no, we don't play it like that. What is it for you?
For me, I mean, we don't play board games at home anymore because, people have the tendency of throwing the boards over when it doesn't go their way. I am people. But the one difference I have is I would prefer to just stay at home, have a braai, have a very chilled, night where you can sit and talk to people. And then everybody else just wants to go out for some reason. They want to go out and socialize and be amongst people. And for me, that's just a no-no. No.
Right, so let's start with some good news. At Old Trafford.
Yes.
What happened?
Well, Ricardo Calafiori was the match winner.
Give it to me blow by blow.
As he scored the only goal as Arsenal picked up a 1-0 win at Old Trafford against Man United. It was a goalkeeping error. Once again, only this time, Onana wasn't in goal, so they really do have a problem with the Red Devils goalkeeper. Meanwhile, Chelsea have controlled the game against Crystal Palace, but they just couldn't find the final ball in the goalless opening game of the season at Stamford Bridge. In fact, the FA Cup winners were the ones that had the ball in the back of the net. That was through Eze in the opening 15 minutes with a well-struck free kick. VAR then intervened to chalk it off due to a little-known law which states if 3 or more defending players form a wall, all attacking players must remain at least 1 meter from that wall until the ball is in play. Palace captain Maxeke impeded when he moved early inside the box before the kick was taken. Their manager Oliver Glasner felt there was no use to bemoan the decision, but couldn't think of an example that had been disallowed before this moment.
Yes, I was a little bit surprised because VAR is treated or handled very, very cautious here in England. What I really appreciate, it's always about supporting the referee's on-field decision. But my great team, who is always watching all the set plays, they will watch it again and find a solution.
Elsewhere, Chris Wood scored a first-half brace in a 3-1 victory for Nottingham Forest at home to Brentford. Jacob Ramsey has made the switch from Aston Villa to Newcastle on a 5-year deal for £40 million. In rugby, the Cavaliers have now won 3 of their opening 4 matches of the Currie Cup season, and they sit joint top of the log with the Cheetahs. They picked up a bonus point 28-20 win over the Bulls in Wellington, while the Wallabies ended a 62-year losing run at Ellis Park Saturday evening as they came from 22 points adrift to stun the Springboks 38-22. It's left the Boks with a lot of work to do if they're to retain the Rugby Championship, something head coach Rassie Rasmus still sees as the ultimate goal.
We've been in similar situations where we've lost with big margins against Australia, and then we had to go and beat New Zealand. We terribly want to win the Rugby Championship. I don't think it's over and done and dusted. I think a lot of things can still happen.
And Marc Marquez won a first Austrian MotoGP as he claimed a sixth successive race. The six-time world champ has now opened up a 142-point lead in the standings. South Africa's Brad Binder had to settle for P7. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
702 delivers
on the matters that matter to you.
My name is Olina, and what I love about 702 is the Clement Banyatela show. I didn't think that I would see Clement today.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts,
so we can deliver more on what matters to you.
702 listens.
Let's walk the talk.
When selling a car, there's nothing worse than a long, frustrating process. We Buy Cars knows life's short and time is precious. So sell your car within a day and from wherever you find it convenient. Simply complete the online form and We Buy Cars will make it happen. Need a new ride? Explore thousands of vehicles online or in-store. We Buy Cars, South Africa's trusted vehicle partner.
At the heart of global conversations shaping our future, Africa's voice is more important than ever. As proud lead sponsor of the B20, the Standard Bank Group is honored to showcase the continent's growth, partnerships, and potential on the world stage. Because driving Africa's growth isn't just our ambition, it's our purpose. Tune in every Monday from 3 p.m. for the Standard Bank B20 In Brief for key insights and updates around the B20. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
My family's struggling with snotty noses and phlegmy coughs.
Oh no! Have you tried ACC?
ACC 600 is a convenient one-a-day effervescent tablet from 14 years of age, or now also in a no-water-needed, fruity-flavored sherbet-like granules that dissolve in your mouth. Ideal for the on-the-go adult. Ask for ACC 600 effervescent or oral powder at your nearest pharmacy to get rid of the snotties and flemmings. And trust, if it doesn't say ACC, it's not ACC.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hello, Uncle Bongani and the team. This is Nkazimulo and I go to Montrose Primary School, and when I grow up, I want to be a vet. I can't wait to play the Whiz Quiz with Uncle Bongani. Thank you.
Oh, Nkazimulo, we want to play with you too. 10,000 Rand will bring a lot of healing.
EWN Traffic.
Right? To sport, to Tiger. Peak time delays are more to 6:45.
Yes, indeed, Bongani. If you're traveling on the N3 North, delays between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road, while on the Mayoral North, there's a stop and go between the N12 and Carr Street. In Omondi, delays are towards Xavier Street, and then when you continue making your way towards Braamfontein, delays from Boysons to Carr Street. If you're traveling in the city of Tshwane, do expect delays along the R80 East Mabopane Highway towards SPM Mpahlele exit. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Naked people are popular at Braais. They're top of the guest list every time and always rock up with the primo cuts. That's because naked people save cash every month with online car and home insurance, which means less money spent on insurance premiums and more money for lamb chops the size of your face. Go to naked.insure now, get a car insurance quote in 90 seconds, and get naked. People, Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
Are you looking for the best savings on spectacles? At Specsavers, enjoy 1,500 Rand off when you get tested at South Africa's trusted and most established optical group. Get 1,500 Rand off all frames in store, or use your 1,500 Rand off on our leading lens enhancements, such as drive light lenses that reduce artificial glare whilst driving. Book online or call your nearest store today. Affordable eye care, Specsavers. T's and C's apply.
The Festival of Motoring, powered by Westbank, brings the spirit of Ubuntu to the Kyalami Grand Prix circuit from the 29th to the 31st of August. Experience thrilling track drives, 4x4 adventures, drifting, supercar hot laps, and F1 demos. Get your tickets on Howler and use the promo code RADIO for a special discount. The Festival of Motoring, the power of new.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. Up to 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. So what you do is you send us an answer based on something you heard on the show that piqued your interest, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. WhatsApp us your name and that answer to 072-702-1702. Later, someone will ask a question to win 2,000 Rand. Now, you always stand a better chance of being selected if you have SMS'd out to Outsurance and got yourself a quote. So do it now. SMS out to 45142. And you could save on your car insurance.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
Hi, Bongani. I truly believe if we are a society that believes that the only way to discipline and get people whose brains are still developing and will take about 21 years for their brains to fully develop require any form of violence to actually be disciplined and listen to us, I feel like we're a very disturbed and cruel society, because I think there is absolutely no need to put any form of violence on children. Children can learn in different ways, but also we need to constantly consider that these people's brains are underdeveloped, so they will behave in underdeveloped ways.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. Perhaps to say, cruelty is... I understand exactly what you mean, but I think sometimes we do what we know to do, what was done to us, and we think, well, we didn't turn out so badly, maybe that's the way to do it. But when we know better, we do better. So I don't always think it's motivated by a desire to be cruel or to be harmful to the kids, but we simply do what we think we know. But sometimes with new information, we can consider different options.
Hi, Bongs. When you're talking about the license, I did my license at the I think it was beginning of July, the PDP. Up until today, I didn't receive my PDP. They told me, no, those people that were the people that already did their license from February, they didn't receive their licenses. So the license thing. I'm a driver at work, so I have to use that license now. I don't have a license anymore. Thank you, folks.
Well, we're talking about the license card specifically. I'm not sure where your PDP comes in, but we also know that there's 600,000 odd South Africans who are still waiting for theirs to be renewed. The story that was in the Sunday Times yesterday, it really is gobsmacking, because it's one of those. And up next, we speak to Outers advocate Stephanie Fick about it.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Let's give away some cash, shall we? Nkazimulo wants to be a vet later on in life. He's 12 years old and goes to Montrose Primary School. Nkazimulo, are you ready to play?
Yes, Uncle Bongani.
Yes, is the confident answer. KG, start the clock. Spell the word special.
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 Correct. What is 20 times 4?
80.
Correct. Which word means regret? Remorse or elation?
Remorse.
Correct. The English abbreviation SUV stands for Sports Utility what?
Sports Utility Van.
Vehicle. What is the capital of France?
Paris.
What's the largest planet in our solar system?
Jupiter.
What sport does Luandre Pretorius play for South Africa?
Pass.
Cricket. What's the name of a place you go to see lots of animals?
Kruger National Park.
Correct. South African politics, the abbreviation GNU stands for government of what?
Pass.
National. Sublimation is the process. I can't complete the question. I can't complete the question, and that gives you a total of 6 correct answers. Not a bad round, not a bad round at all, Nkazimulo. Morningside walking away with 600 Rand. It's $100 for each correct answer. Get them all right. You win 10,000 Rand.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
8 minutes to 7 now. Ever read one of those stories that makes you think, no man, not even in South Africa. We've done some crazy stuff. Not even South Africa. So as I was saying earlier, over 500,000 of us are still waiting for new driver's license cards because the 26-year-old machine, the only one the country has, keeps faltering and failing. So the Department of Transport, they try to fix the problem. Now, the Sunday Times exposed how a 7-member delegation from the department went to go see proof of concept of a high-tech machine that a company bidding for the tender was offering. They were taken to France and later Amsterdam to go and inspect it. And upon their return, so impressed with these officials, they said this is the company to win the bid. In fact, it's okay that we're going to give them a contract worth nearly R1 billion, 412 million rand more than was originally projected, because we think this is smashing. It's amazing. Solves all our problems. Except the machine they saw in Amsterdam and France wasn't the one to be used here by the same company. The one that company is using is in the Czech Republic and Greece. So they didn't see the thing they thought they saw. The Auditor General thought this is nonsense. This company should have been disqualified outright. The deal is irregular, it's unlawful and fundamentally flawed. So what happens next? We've spoken to Advocate Stephanie Fick about this before, the Executive Director of the Accountability Division at OUTA. A very good morning to you, and as always, thank you for your time.
Good morning, Bongani. It's only a pleasure.
Didn't you read that story and go, yay, come on? Right?
I like the way you put it. You think that not even in South Africa, but yes. If it wasn't so sad, it's a comedy of errors, I think.
I mean, we spoke in June, and you suspected that this whole license renewal crisis was linked to what you might call a manipulated outcome, right, to favor a particular supplier. That was your suspicion then. This kind of confirms it.
Yes, I think what we saw with the AG report and our investigation and afterwards is that this tender was definitely, firstly, written with a specific edemia in mind, and then the way the tender was evaluated. I mean, it's the BEC committee members, the bid evaluation committee members that was there. It all looks like it was tailored in order to hand over this contract to edemia. Definitely.
What does something like this tell us about how public procurement still happens in this country?
No, definitely a red flag. Definitely a red flag. And what worries one is that, you know what, Bongani, I don't think our laws are necessarily wrong. I mean, we've got good laws. It is the people that use it and applies it. And so, in other words, we have a long way to go, for our system to procure the things that firstly that we need and that the price is competitive and in the best interest of the country. We need a machine because the machine keeps on breaking. But we need a machine that will give to us what we need and for the best price. I think edemia, one of the things that is also sort of glaringly obvious is that I think it was the only company that had laser printing or something. So the bid was definitely, or the tender was written for edemia. And I don't know how many people can still remember. They were sort of chased away from AXA because something similar happened there as well. But still, what do? We give it to a company that, whether they were found guilty or not, there are allegations of shenanigans. And we've seen that this whole process was just shrouded in things that we do not like. And this is what we need to change in South Africa, how we procure.
Is there any conversation to be had that maybe these bid evaluation committee members weren't specifically going to see the machine we are getting, supposedly, but something like it? In other words, this is how it would work. Won't be the exact same thing, right? But this is the idea.
I think what I'm hearing you say is sometimes it might be necessary because you can't see the exact machine, but you can see a machine that is sort of similar. In general, I want to say I don't think that is the problem. I think if you see this whole contract and how it was awarded, the fact that it was double the price, if you put all of that together, I think it's just red flags all over. But if you are, if you want to go overseas and you want to go look at machines, that's up to you. I mean, good luck to you and please enjoy it. But if you do it on taxpayers' money, I also want to say, then make sure you see the machine that will inform your decision. It doesn't help you see a machine that is neither here nor there, and we don't know what type of machine they went to watch. So for that, I want to say, but go watch the machine that you want to procure for South Africa.
So what happens now? This contract, does that mean the end of it? Does this need to go through a court challenge? What happens next?
Unfortunately, it has to go through a court challenge. The department has filed papers, set out why they want this contract to be set aside, or that they can start the bidding process all over. And Ademia are saying, no, we want this contract. There was nothing wrong with it. Small little things here and there. We have to keep our eye on this court proceedings. It is sad that we have to go through this because, again, it's legal fees, but it's necessary. Two evils, two wrongs doesn't make a right. We cannot afford for this tender to go ahead.
For the average motorist, one of the issues we raised when we last spoke to you was that you were awaiting a response from the Transport Minister, Barbara Creasy, around a call for no fines during this license card backlog period. What was the final answer you got?
We didn't get a direct answer, but if I'm not mistaken, I think in the media it was sort of given a go-ahead that they will not be unfair to motorists. But still, even if there is, we all know, sometimes people react differently. If there is a traffic cop that writes you a ticket because you did all you could and you still didn't get your driver's license card, please let ALTA know, because the government should let up on something that's their fault.
All right, Stephanie Fick, appreciate your time. The organization Undoing Tax Abuse, keeping an eye on this tender for a new driving license card.
702.
Coming up, the big interview.
Over 1,000 delegates in attendance. This, of course, the National Convention, all part of the preparatory work for the National Dialogue. Was it once again the elites blowing hot air? Or are we about to see real change begin in South Africa?
This is EWN.
A survivor of a Maponya Mall gun attack hopes for the best in her recovery, and the Human Rights Commission says Gayton McKenzie has a case to answer. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The family of a woman who was shot by a stray bullet at Maponya Mall during tax-related violence says her life has been turned upside down. Baratile Sekwala was coming from work last Wednesday in an Uber to Klipspruit when two bullets struck her in the face. Sekwala is one of two people who sustained injuries when an Uber driver was shot dead and his car set alight outside the entrance of the mall by four unknown men. Speaking at a prayer service yesterday, Sekwala's aunt Palesa Mlausi says it has been an agonizing experience for the young teacher.
At the moment, she's not okay. She's still in pain. She'll be going back to the hospital. So we don't know which process goes.
Because she's hurt in her eye and a bullet is stuck on her face.
The family says it is unable to cope.
We don't sleep. Since Wednesday, we can't sleep. We went to the doctor to get something to calm our nerves because we are traumatized.
The South African Human Rights Commission believes there's prima facie evidence that Sports, Arts and Culture Minister Gayton McKenzie has violated the Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act. The Commission has received complaints against Mackenzie for old social media posts that resurfaced after he indicated he would sue podcasters for disparaging remarks made against coloured people. The Human Rights Commission has now sent an allegation letter to Mackenzie before determining its next course of action. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton Mackenzie opened a can of worms when he took aim at the Open Chats podcasters earlier this month, prompting his own comments of the past decade to be scrutinised. While Mackenzie says his social media posts and comments have been taken out of context, the Human Rights Commission says it's opened an investigation into these posts and Mackenzie's alleged xenophobic utterances. In a statement, the Commission says depending on the response it receives from Mackenzie, it might institute proceedings against him in the Equality Court. The Commission says given Mackenzie's position as a minister and a member of Parliament, his conduct is expected to conform to ethical standards. In response to the Human Rights Commission letter, Mackenzie said the truth would emerge. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
The SACP has hit back at critics of Defence Force Chief Rudzani Maponya for his remarks during a recent visit in Iran. Maponya was at the centre of a diplomatic storm last week when Iranian media reported that he appeared to publicly co-sign South Africa to stronger political and military ties with Tehran. Despite mounting pressure to account for his comments, the SACP has come out in defence for him. Makhanya has the details.
A few months ahead of his retirement, SANDF Chief Rudzani Maponya is now facing calls to step down over his comments. The SACP has since come out batting for him in what the party labelled as anti-Iran hysteria and geopolitical hypocrisy. In a statement released at the weekend, the SACP says South Africa's ties with Iran are not out of the ordinary. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation distanced itself from Maponya's comments. President Cyril Ramaphosa called Maponya's comments ill-advised. The SACP says government's muddled response is concerning, accusing government of scapegoating the SANDF chief. It says giving in to the whims of Iran's foes to appease other countries sets a bad precedent. Nogukhanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
And US President Donald Trump says Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky could choose to end the war with Russia almost immediately, or he can continue to fight. Trump posted on his Truth social media ahead of a meeting with Zelensky in the White House today. The Ukrainian leader is bringing European allies with him, including NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte and UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. That gathering comes after Trump hosted Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday, where he dropped a demand for a ceasefire and called for a permanent peace deal. Trump also says he's on a continued talk basis with the European leaders about finding a solution to the 3-year war.
I'll be talking to President Zelensky. I'm going to get everybody's ideas. I go into that thing fully loaded right up there, and we're going to see what happens. Now, I think one of two things is going to happen. It's going to be a good meeting, and we'll go a step further. We'll get it done. I'd like to see a ceasefire very, very quickly. Very quick. I'd like to see it immediately, but I'd like to see it very quickly.
Gold is trading at $3,343.37 an ounce. The rand is at 17.58 to the dollar, 23.85 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.89 a barrel.
And in the traffic, in Diepkloof, there's been an accident on the N12 West. It happened before the Diepkloof interchange. It's causing delays already. While traveling out of Tembisa, do expect heavy traffic volumes along the R21 South. This is between Olifantsfontein Road and the R25. This is due to roadwork, so please be patient on the roads.
And in your sports, Arsenal beat Man United as they add huge pressure to R1bn at the start of the Premier League season. All level between Pirates and Sundowns following MTN8 first leg semi-finals, while Stellies hold the lead against Sekhukhune United. And the Cincinnati Open final will see Swiatek against Paulini and Sinner facing Alcaraz.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Johannesburg is at a low of 9 degrees, peaking at 21. Pretoria 8 and 22. Vereeniging 10 and 20. The top story in EWN this hour. The family of a woman who was shot by a stray bullet at Maponya Mall during taxi-related violence says her life has been turned upside down.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Your vote is not just a click. It's a thank you, a nod, a way of saying we see you. Vote for your favorite local business now on primemediaplus.com.
This is EWN.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
EWN, Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, all of that available for you on this Monday morning, 7 minutes after 7 o'clock. The family of the woman who was shot by a stray bullet at Maponya Mall during that taxi violence says her life has been turned upside down. You're coming back from work, it's a random Wednesday. You are thinking about maybe the food you still need to prepare. You're thinking about your utility bills. You are thinking about your children. You're thinking about your family. And you're hit by a bullet that has nothing to do with you. Two of them, in fact, struck Barati Lesikwala in the face. I mean, they're still holding prayer services, her family, because they don't quite know what happens next. 2 bullets in the face. How many arrests have we heard about? Do we know the names of who fired the bullet? Have we been able to trace those bullets to a particular weapon? Welcome to Saga.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 after 7, we told you on Friday the US president was meeting with his Russian counterpart. President Donald Trump met with Vladimir Putin on Friday. And essentially this is his assessment of that gathering. He was speaking to Fox News and their host Sean Hannity after that landmark summit. And here's how Trump sees it in the aftermath.
They analyze this from the outside. This is how almost everybody's kind of universal thinking, how this ends. There's going to be some land swaps. There will be more Russian territory than there had been. And what Ukraine wants and needs desperately is our security measures that won't be NATO related. If you had to look into your crystal ball, is that how it ends?
Well, I think those are points that we negotiated, and those are points that we largely have agreed on, actually. I think we've agreed on a lot. And I can tell you, the meeting was a very warm meeting. You know, he's a strong guy, he's tough as hell and all of that. But the meeting was a very warm meeting between 2 very important countries, and it's very good when they get along. I think we're pretty close to it. Now, look, Ukraine has to agree to it. Maybe they'll say no.
Russia is a strong country. Ukraine is not. I think that gives you some indication of where Trump's mind might be. All right, I want to bring you now to news closer to home. You may remember, of course, a conversation with Peter Louis Myburgh, the investigative journalist who exposed goings-on at the IDT. The suspended CEO was caught in that video where she and the spokesperson of the entity tried to offer a bribe to the journalist, and it was all caught on camera. Since then, she's come out forward, Tebogo Malaga, and given interviews, and she still insists that she was set up.
So when I met the journalist, when we got there, before I even sat down, I said, I separate conversation with you without Mr. Pash. And the reason I did that was that they've been meeting, both of them. I never had the opportunity to confront him about what has been happening. And the first thing I asked him was, why do you hate me so much? And he says, no, I don't hate you. I've been writing about Lucky Montana, Brian Molefe. It's not hate. And I said, but to me, it feels like it. Because all these articles have been negative from work, and then they became very personal. And he says, no, but that's why we are meeting. We want to then improve on the relationship. And I said, I then highlighted how the negative articles affected me and affected my family. And then he said, no, I have had discussions with Mr. Pasha, and we had agreed on working relationship moving forward, and I had asked for a token of appreciation.
Notice how in all her explanations, she was speaking to ENCA, by the way, and notice how in all the explanations, the substance of what Peter Louis Myburgh was writing about, she doesn't deal with. She only mentions that she told him of her hurt about what he was saying and why did he hate her. I don't think any journalist writes stories of this nature, investigative work of this nature, particularly one who has the reputation and whose caliber of work is like that of Peter Louis Myburgh, because they hate someone.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
12 after 7, things you need to know at this hour. The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi will begin a visit to India today for talks under the Special Representative's mechanism. He's expected to meet the National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, and it comes just days before the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi heads to China for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit on the 31st of August. And as I say, the US President Donald Trump is now going to be hosting the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, but Zelensky is not coming alone. He's bringing backup to the meeting. Alongside, there'll be European heavyweights like the NATO Secretary General. The UK Prime Minister is coming. The French President will also be there. Now, it was on this day in 1977 that anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko was arrested. This was at a roadblock near King Williamstown in South Africa. He, of course, as you know, died in police custody on the 12th of September, having sustained injuries from severe beatings by security officers. And police initially denied any mistreatment, but later an inquest and testimony before commissions revealed that Biko had been beaten brutally. He died in police custody, as I say, on the 12th of September 1977. In another awful South African GBV story, a 32-year-old man from Eldorado Park was accused of raping and assaulting his 4-year-old daughter, who later died from the injuries she sustained. He's going to be applying for bail in the Pretoria Magistrates Court today. When he first appeared last week, prosecutors added 3 more charges. He now faces 5 in total, including murder, rape, and assault. And on the 18th of August, 2001, Alicia Keys' debut single, Falling, hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100.
And I love with you. Sometimes I love you. Sometimes you make me blue. Sometimes I feel good. At times I feel used. Loving you, darling, makes me so confused. I keep on falling in and out.
7:02. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
It's a 7:15. This Eyewitness News traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. There are delays in Tembisa, the R21 area. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. This is in the southerly direction towards the R25, and this is due to roadworks taking place along this route. The delays are as you come out of the Olifantsfontein off-ramp. And then in Diepkloof, we've got an accident on the N12 West. It's right near the Diepkloof interchange. Delays from Xavier Street. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care. I'll have more details coming up shortly.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Clever late excuse number 84. Your dog ran out of the gate and you had to chase him for 2 kilometers. Well, fortunately, with Outsurance pointsmen on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance pointsmen ease traffic congestion to get you there quickly and safely. Outsurance really means it when they say you always get something out. This is in proud partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
Hey SA, entries for FlySafe's Business Booster are closing soon. So if you're a small local business that needs help taking off, Enter at flysafair.co.za. Tell us about your business, and you could be one of 6 standout enterprises to win 10 return business class flights plus brand exposure across our various platforms. Whether you're mixing, matching, crafting, or inventing, we want to help your business skyrocket. Fly Safair, for the love of fly. T's and C's apply.
There's a song that goes, "Money can't buy me love." And that's true. But then they told us all you need is love, which anybody with a mortgage will tell you most certainly is not true. Love won't pay your parking tickets or your student loan. It's also needy. It requires effort, availability, constant care. But more importantly, love requires time. And while money can't buy you love, it can certainly free up some of your time. Time to spend on the things you love, with the people you love. And if you're looking, maybe even time to find the one you love. That's why, after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time to do the things you love. And don't you love that about investing? Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
Are you living with diabetes? Tired of painful fingerstick tests? Introducing a new continuous glucose monitoring system from Abbott Laboratories. The Freestyle Libre 2 system sends glucose readings straight to your compatible smartphone. With minute-by-minute glucose readings, optional glucose alarms, and excellent accuracy, the Freestyle Libre system is here to support you in the management of your diabetes. For more information and where to buy your Freestyle Libre 2 sensor, visit www.freestylelibre.za.com. Now available at your local pharmacy.
They opened their doors before sunrise, stayed up late, showed up. Now they've made it to the finals of Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko because of you. But they're not done yet. Your vote that could make them Gauteng's greatest. Go to primediaplus.com now to cast it. Because support isn't just spoken, it's action. And your vote is a standing ovation for the Corner Cafe with the big dreams, the local legend who never gave up, the startup that's changing the game. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702, powered by Yoko. Let Yoko Counter fuel your business to greatness. Go to yoko.com to explore the new point of sale solution, saving hundreds of businesses time and money.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
19 after 7. On to this. The National Convention had over 1,000 delegates in attendance. And so, did it give you a sense of the beginning of real change, or was it yet another discussion with elites, yet another talk shop? It was hosted at UNISA, themed Uniting Voices Shaping the Nation. There were leaders from government, politics, business, civil society. But you may remember, of course, last week, 7 legacy foundations withdrawing. The president insisted it must continue. And we want to hear both sides of shall we say, the argument. It's not a debate. It's not going to be you versus me, but we want to tell both sides of that story. So we thought we'd invite one of the legacy foundations. We're joined firstly by Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi, who is the chairperson of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation. A pleasure to have you on our show. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Bongani. Good to be on your show, as if always.
We want to catch up with the thinking of the legacy foundations following your withdrawal from at least the planning phase of this national dialogue. Is it still your position that this event was misrepresentative or unrepresentative of what your initial intentions were?
Thank you for the question. I do want to say that, you know, a national foundation by its very nature is quite complex. And we were quite clear as progenitors of the idea that there was a need for a process, a pre-convention process that would actually contribute towards preparing for a national dialogue in all honesty. Because as you are aware, Bongani, there's been a number of skeptics around this process. And just to give you a sense, the intention always in the conception as well as the preparation over a period of 1 year was that at a national convention, this would be a point in the process when a report of the past 12 months would be presented to a larger plenary. But that in essence, in addition to that, I mean, the report is but one part. There would be an engagement of with documents that would be circulated to everyone attending the national convention that would allow the organizations, the sectors, civil society members, ordinary citizens to engage with papers that have been drafted. And there were 10 such papers, actually 11, that looked at one, framing the challenges of South Africa, looking at respect and defense of our constitutional state and democratic structures, building a capable state, and much more. And it would allow every sector to engage prior to coming to the convention in order that representatives there would be able to give constituency inputs at the convention, and they build on the documents. They may actually say, well, these documents aren't good enough. We actually think that there are much more to be dealt with, and so on. And one raises that today because I have in some previous incarnations been involved both nationally and internationally in convention, in national dialogues, and clearly understood that the amount of work you put into the process, the pre-dialogue, results in the quality of the outcome, and especially dealing with the complexities that we currently confront in South Africa.
So essentially,
and that was the intention.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying there's no point in getting together under one roof if there isn't substance to the discussions that are being held. You wanted preparatory documents, you wanted fact sheets, you wanted reports. No doubt I would imagine you'd want those all even translated in various languages so that as many stakeholders as possible would give considered inputs. There would be some pushback to that to say, look, that's a very elitist way of approaching a dialogue like this, that it needs to be rather citizen-led based on what people are feeling and experiencing on the ground, and that by making it almost an academic exercise, you would likely leave out many South Africans who wouldn't be able to participate in that regard. What's your response to that?
Oh, no, you won't. As a matter of fact, we've got instances, examples in South Africa, and as I said elsewhere on the African continent, where the importance is in the preparation of the process. It's not elite-driven. You actually go out to sectors and communities and say, here are identified issues. This is what has been received coming from communities. What should be added? And in the process, you have representatives from those very communities or sectors who will participate. So it's not academics or elites that will do so. And I'll give you an example. We have an African peer review mechanism that had been adopted by the African Union. In South Africa and elsewhere on the African continent, there's always been a country report drafted.
Yeah.
That country report came from communities and it was put in a final document. You bring people together in discussion,
All right.
and their engagement is such that take forward not only the sentiment, but the intention. And you also look at what are the short-term interventions required to deal with the challenges.
I accept all of that. Is it too late? Can there be any middle ground for these legacy foundations to still come back to this process?
It's never too late. And as I said earlier, being the progenitors, we had not withdrawn from the national dialogue. What we withdrew from was the national convention that we said should be given a bit more time in order to ensure preparation in such a way that would include everyone who was in the room and everyone who was outside of the room.
All right.
And to your point, Bongani, in all the languages spoken in our country.
Yeah, no, fully appreciate that. Thank you for your time. Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi is the chairperson of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
Really to get a response and a sense of what actually did happen this weekend, we thought we'd get the other perspective. We've invited Thulasizwe Makhanya, who is the Stalwarts Foundation and, of course, comes from that side of things. Was one of the attendees at the National Dialogue. Appreciate your time to come to us at such short notice. You've heard the concerns that have been raised by the Thabo Mbeki Foundation. Nonetheless, the process has begun. Again, I ask you, is there any way to still bring these legacy foundations back on board?
Good morning, Bongani, and to the listeners at home. We appreciate the platform. First of all, we appreciate the work that has been done by the legacy foundations. They've done a lot of work when it comes to the preparation of this important gathering that happened this weekend. And also, we're happy that they didn't withdraw from the national dialogue. They only withdrew from this gathering that was happening this weekend. So we hope that as we move forward, we will be able then to work together with them as the way of trying to add value to the conversation that we really need in this country.
But of course, I mean, when foundations like not only the Thabo Mbeki Foundation and the Desmond and Leah Tutu Foundation, but even at the last minute, the Halema Mutlante Foundation pull out, it does bring questions of credibility of what happened this weekend, notwithstanding, of course, what we've just heard about the preparatory work that was supposed to have been done. A lot of people showed up and the substance of the discussions wasn't informed by all of the preparatory work that you heard Dr. Fraser-Moleketi suggest needed to have been done.
Oh, yes. I would think that there will be those challenges, especially when you think about where we're coming from as a country. You know, when the negotiations started in the early 90s, there will be what we call talks about talks. We took this opportunity to participate in this convention, national convention, based on that that's still a phase where we are just trying to create a framework for the national dialogues. And the presentation that was done to us as Stalwarts Foundation is that this will be citizen-led. And we're encouraged and we're encouraged to participate through that. And what then our input will be that this should go beyond foundations. This should go beyond civic organizations. It should encourage citizens as individuals to be part of these important platforms to shape the future of this country. And also, what also attracted us is that there will be, in this country, we have over 4,000 wards. So, and then it also means that they will have an average of 3 dialogues per ward, depending on the size of the ward. So it means that there will be over 12,000 dialogues that we'll have in this country in the near future. So citizen-led, we are for that approach.
All right, so there might still be a meeting of minds at some point. Thulasizwe Makhanya is from the Stalwarts Foundation and also the Charlotte Manya Maxeke Institute.
EWN Business.
Right, this business report proudly sponsored by GIC. Through infrastructure-related projects, GIC sets a better standard of living. GIC changing lives. Muteo, let's talk about private education. Better profits this year.
Yeah, Stadio experiencing better profits. The private higher education group says it expects to see half-year earnings rise by as much as 32%. In a voluntary market update, CEO Chris Foster says the company saw an overall growth of 11% in contact learning, while distance learning saw growth of 8%. The group says student numbers hit 50,878 for the half year. The company also said that the construction of its Durbanville campus is on track to take students from 2026.
Nedbank might no longer echo in Togo.
Bongani. Nedbank Group says it has reached a deal to sell its 21% stake in Togo-based EcoBank Transactional Incorporated. Nedbank acquired the EcoBank stake in 2014 in an effort to grow its footprint in West Africa. The move will see the bank focus on southern and eastern African markets. Nedbank also announcing that it had entered into an agreement to acquire 100% of card machine company eCoca last week.
And where's the rand, your indicators?
Rand at this hour punching above its weight at 17 Rand 57 against the US dollar, still in a good position there. 20 Rand 56 cents against the euro and at 23 Rand 79 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $3,353 an ounce, or platinum is up more than 0.5% at $1,341. Brent crude at $65.81 a barrel. More business after 8.
Change requires skill, an agile body to fill the gaps. But real change moves collaboratively, progressively, enabling, because it knows what to do and how to improve the lives of the deserving. Through infrastructure-related projects, GIC actively brings change for the better, because real change sets a standard of living, of being. GIC, changing lives.
Well, let's go straight to the news desk. Thulasizwe, let's start with the Red Berets.
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. EFF leader Julius Malema has again dismissed the First National Convention as a sham, labelling it a waste of state resources. Malema was speaking at the weekend on the sidelines of a rally in Seshego in Limpopo, where the Red Berets were celebrating the party's by-election win at Ward 13. His criticism of the First National Convention comes after repeated concerns about the hefty price tag to convene a series of talks in an attempt to address the country's challenges.
Well, it was disorganized and it was just a government elite that was all over the place, and it really did not serve any purpose. If anything, it was saving the egos of certain people, and therefore it was a waste of money.
Malema says the withdrawal of the legacy foundations and concerns raised by NGOs about the lack of preparedness in the build-up to the convention should have been taken into consideration.
We don't support this convention. We don't support the national dialogue. We know the demands of our people. We cannot spend 700 million of the money that we don't have. Our people need services. They don't want the talks. They are tired of talking.
In KwaZulu-Natal, Maibuya National Convener Floyd Shivambu says it's all or nothing at the 2026 local government elections as he wraps up the consultation process in the province. Shivambu met with Maibuya volunteers in Durban yesterday, where he reiterated plans to turn the consultative process into a political party. But he says he wants an in-house labor union, civil and civic society organizations and NGOs to be part of the Maibuya movement. Shivambu's attempt to make inroads in KZN comes after he was expelled from former President Jacob Zuma's MK party, which made a massive sweep of voters at last year's general elections. Shivambu says he has big ambitions.
And contest elections not just for the sake of contesting. Contest elections with the aim of winning all the elections.
Gauteng Agriculture MEC Vuyiswa Ramokgopa says the country's fresh produce markets cannot be allowed to fail as municipalities come under fire for inefficient administration and poor maintenance of its assets. Last week, the High Court in Pretoria found the city of Tshwane in contempt of court for failing to comply with an earlier order to maintain its fresh produce market. The court ordered for the mayor and city manager to be imprisoned for a month unless they comply with the order to ensure that the market was fire and smoke compliant within 30 days. Nogukaya Mtambo takes a look.
The markets in Joburg and Tshwane are not only municipal assets, but have also been described as strategic pillars of South Africa's agricultural economy, vital for transparent pricing, reliable market access, and critical for the livelihoods of thousands of producers and traders. Gauteng MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development, Vuyiswa says the poor investment and reinvestment by municipalities which own and operate the business hubs is worrying.
And I think on a point of principle, that is something that has to be challenged, and it is something that has to be addressed, because the fresh produce markets are so critical for the functioning of the fresh produce sector and agricultural sector.
Earlier this year, an inquiry recommended a review of some municipal bylaws in a bid to make the national fresh produce markets more competitive and fit for purpose. Nogukhanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
And tens of thousands of demonstrators have again gathered in Tel Aviv to call for an end to the war in Gaza and the release of hostages. Last night's rally has been described as one of the largest demonstrations in Israel since the start of the fighting in October in 2023. The rally was the culmination of a day of nationwide protests and a general strike to pressure the government to halt the military campaign.
There's absolutely no alternative but a whole deal, one single deal that returns all of the hostages.
Every day in the past 681 days we've been hoping for this nightmare to stop. I truly believe that all hostages should be home, and we are hoping and praying that our government will hear us and listen to us.
Palestinian armed group Hamas killed more than 1,000 people in Israel and took 251 others hostage in October 2023. And since then, Israel has killed more than 60,000 Palestinians and displaced almost the entire population in Gaza to starvation and displacement. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures are at lows of 8 and 10 degrees, peaking at highs between 21 and 22.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy traffic volumes along the N12 West. This is between Xavier Street and the Deep Kloof interchange due to a major accident scene while traveling on the N3 North. Bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Elands interchange and Modderfontein Road. Traveling in the southerly direction of this route, also do expect delays between Modderfontein Road and the Kilulis interchange.
The top story this hour, EFF leader Julius Malema has again dismissed the First National Convention as a sham.
A sinkhole on the R21 near Olifantsfontein is being repaired, but this isn't just about restoring the road. SANRAL's 154 million rand project is opening the door to new opportunities for the local community, from training and mentorship for SMMEs to jobs for unskilled labor and real experience for young engineers. This project is repairing more than a road, it's building futures. Work starts mid-September 2025. SANRAL, building South Africa through better roads.
Looking for your next car? We Buy Cars makes it easy with over 10,000 vehicles available for sale. So whether it's your season to upgrade or downgrade your vehicle, We Buy Cars has what you need. With over 10,000 vehicles for sale, you'll find a variety of cars, bakkies, bikes, boats, trucks and more, sold at incredible prices. We Buy Cars also offers convenient finance solutions through South Africa's most trusted banks, which you can easily apply for online or in store. They have insurance solutions, warranties, service plans, and more. They'll provide everything you need under one roof. The entire process is quick and seamless. You can even sell within a day and get paid on the spot. So when you're buying or selling, We Buy Cars offers a fast, simple, and reliable process. So visit webuycars.co.za today.
Business Outsurance are experts in business insurance for real estate agencies, law firms, computer services, and more. Jacqueline?
We saved a lot of money when we switched over from another insurance company to Business Outsurance. We've had some claims and they were friendly and efficient and paid out when they promised.
Switch to Business Outsurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Visit outsurance.co.za. Switch and save today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
702. WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Hey, Bongani. The Mbeki Foundation, they said they didn't attend the convention because of whatever reasons that she has outlined about documents and all those things. But they're going to participate in the dialogue itself. What would have changed? Because if they didn't participate from the first session, the issues that are going to the second session are going to be affected by the first session. So, Thabo Mbeki's foundation, you know these foundations. And you should have asked her, when they pull off Why didn't she write this? Thabo Mbeki write a letter to himself, like he did with the DA? Hypocritical.
Hey, Bongani, good morning. This talk shop, I found it disappointing over the weekend, Bongani. How do you exclude racism and immigration as not part of your theme if you want to truly have a national dialogue that affects South Africans? So they excluded racism and immigration, which I felt like, you know what, maybe this thing was meant to protect the ANC from its failures, so they don't get exposed. So I don't take it seriously,
Kustas, I kind of got a lot of what Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi was trying to say, that you want a process like this to be substantive. You want detailed questions and issues. And I would imagine what you are raising, Kustas, could have been one of the discussion points or papers prepared ahead of the gathering. That's exactly what they're saying is they didn't want it to be a whole bunch of hot air with people who are well known making big statements, but without data, without evidence, and even anecdotes from community members about what their lived experiences are, without representation where they could say, we went to that corner, we went all the way to, I don't know, Thohoyandou or Alexander Bay or Manguzi in KZN, and we spoke to this kind of community who said do you follow what I'm saying? I kind of understood what she was saying. Now, what that means for the next incarnation is unclear to me. Whilst they are saying the legacy foundations, it's not too late, but I do think it's a fair question that if the groundwork hasn't been laid correctly, how then do you proceed if the foundation is not stable?
702.
What's the question?
What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. Your chance to win up to 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. Let's go to Sebastian in Johannesburg. Sebastian, what's today's answer, please?
Hi, Bongani. It's Y20 Summit.
Y20 Summit. Sebastian, tell me, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
I'm a client, Bongani.
You biscuit. 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance in 702. Sebastian says the answer is Y20 Summit. I think the word summit gives it away. Very easy to figure out. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
16 to 8, this EWN Sport is brought to you by the all-new Hilux Legend 55. For 55 years, Hilux has been conquering South Africa's toughest terrains. And now there's a new legend in the family. Anthony, I feel I must apologize to you. We've had one or two complaints suggesting that when I say, good morning, Anthony Teixeira, I'm not saying it correctly.
I'm going to be honest, I don't hear anything wrong with it. I'm not exactly sure what the issue is. A lot of people think that at the end it's a duh, so potentially that's what's happening, but it is an RA, so Anthony Teixeira.
Which is how I say it, right?
It sounds perfect to me.
Okay, Anthony Teixeira, what do you have at this hour?
Well, I have football for us, as Man United may have spent over £200 million on new forwards, but they just couldn't find a goal. They suffered a 1-0 loss at Old Trafford to Arsenal in the Premier League season opener for them. Ruben Amorim's defended his side's performance despite his record at the Red Devils not looking great, with 15 losses across his 28 matches.
I think it's clear that we didn't deserve to lose, not against a very, very good team. One set pieces, a strange goal. We deserve more, but we didn't score, and that was in the end was the difference.
Sunday's other games saw Chelsea and Crystal Palace ending goalless, Nottingham Forest winning 3-1 against Brentford. Both MTN8 semi-finals are still up for grabs. Orlando Pirates scored in the dying moments to snatch a 1-1 draw in the first leg at home to Mamelodi Sundowns. Abdusam Walu expects the Buccaneers to fight for a result in the return fixture at the Lucas Moripe Stadium.
No, you cannot be happy about a draw. What I can say that is I congratulate my boys to come back and to equalize and to bring at least the draw and to give us still the opportunity to go to win the next game.
Meanwhile, Stellenbosch will head to the new Peter Mokaba Stadium with a 2-goal advantage over Sekhukhune United. Let's switch to tennis, where the Women's Cincinnati Open final will have Iga Swiatek facing Jasmine Paolini. The Pole won her semi-final 7-5, 6-3 over Elena Rybakina, while Paolini rallied past unseeded Verona Kudermetova 6-3, 6-7, 6-3. In the men's draw, Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz will battle for the title. In golf, Scottie Scheffler claimed a 5th victory of the year with a 2-shot win at the BMW Championship. The world number 1 carded a 3-under-par final round in some tricky conditions.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough day out there. The greens got really tough to putt there towards the end, and it was a challenging day. You know, I was starting 4 shots back, but got myself into the tournament pretty quickly there on the front 9, and did a lot of good stuff out there. Would have liked to have a few less mistakes, but overall, I mean, great battle all the way through. Did a good job of staying patient and executing when we needed to.
Elsewhere, Herman Loopsa won the Origins of Golf events in Paris via playoff hole, while Marco Penge won the Danish Championship, and for a second consecutive year, John Rahm has won the individual Live Golf title. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
It's not just a buggy, it's the new Hilux Legend 55. So it's not just another launch, it's a legacy continued. It's not just an updated exterior, but sleek design with styling bar and roller shutter. It's not just Legend 55 badging, it's a legendary badge of honor. And you're not just a driver, but part of our community, our legacy, our legends. It's not a buggy, it's the new Hilux Legend 55.
Payment solutions should run with your business wherever and whenever it happens. With PayFast by Network, you can accept payments online, in-store or on the move with one simple, secure system. And when business picks up, our Easy Advance funding gives you flexibility to move even faster. Always open, for every hour, for every order, for you. Sign up today at payfast.io. PayFast has partnered with TymeBank to offer funding to your business.
Betway's exclusive new games are taking the world by storm. Featuring massive Megaways jackpots. Take your shot on Cash and Riches, Wolf Blaze, Gallo Gold Brunos, and many more incredible experiences for you to choose from. You're guaranteed to find a new ultra fun favorite. Get way more only at Betway. Betway's licensed by the Mpumalanga Economic Regulator. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. NRGP counseling line 0800 006 008. All events are fixed odds betting games.
If you want to know about the heart and art of jazz, look no further than the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival, a grand ensemble of over 50 world-class acts across 4 stages for 3 whole days. That's right, from the 26th, 27th and 28th of September. The Sandton Convention Center will be demure and sophisticated as the fine Standard Bank Joy of Jazz 2025 takes you deep into the heart, the art and splendor of jazz. Take me there. Book your seat via Ticketmaster now.
EWN Traffic.
It's 10 to 8. This EWN Traffic is brought to you by the new Opel Grandland. With smart tech and striking design, it's German engineering on a grand scale. Test drive one today at your nearest Opel dealer. There are delays now in the capital, Amo.
That's correct, Bongani. On the N4 West towards the Proof Plus interchange, delays coming out of Tamboti Avenue. There's also queuing traffic in the Gasfontein area. This is along Gasfontein Road and Solomon Mahlangu Drive. And if you're traveling in Irene, do expect heavier traffic volumes along Nalmepius Drive. This is between Delmas Road and the R21 exit. If you're traveling on the N1 South, delays from Linwood Road to the Flying Saucer interchange, and that's due to peak time delays. I'll have more updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Don't ever settle for great. You know that great feeling after nailing a big presentation? Imagine upgrading that. I'm talking driving home with your car's massage seats, practically high-fiving your bum. Headlights so bright, you feel like the star your boss said you were. Arriving home, making an entrance, grander than your slide transitions. Go grand in the new Opel Grandland, designed and made in Germany. Visit opel.co.za for more.
Opel Grandland 702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Artsurance. Please tell me what's the question. If the answer is Y20 Summit. Let's go to Stephen in Kimberley. Stephen, what's the question?
Good morning, Bongani. The question is, which youth-led forum under South Africa's G20 presidency is taking place today as part of the youth aim to shape global policy?
Yeah, I think I'll give it to you. Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi will be addressing that gathering today. It's the Y20 Youth Summit. Stephen in Kimberley, congratulations. 2,000 Rand is coming your way in cash, all thanks to Outsurance and 702.
I work at Optimia College. We offer distance learning solutions.
How is it that Outsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible.
Yeah.
You're helping people to do better, and Outsurance is doing better for you.
Definitely. If Outsurance will not be able to beat your current premiums, remember there's that 500 Rand that you could get.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands.
Tell me, what brings you and Outsurance together?
You know, Jacques, I've been battling to get a nice car insurance, man. Someone that can give you nice service. Whenever you call them, they're there for you. You know, Outsurance, I found them. I'm saving a cool $360.
Why put yourself through the pain? Be like Jermaine.
Yes, be like Jermaine and sign up with Outsurance.
Get the real deal with the real savings.
Yes, there we go. I made the right move.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's and information online.
Vodacom is now the official telecommunications partner to all our national Springbok teams and SA rugby competitions. And when we say all, we mean every single one, from juniors to seniors, women's to men's, grassroots to World Cup glory. Vodacom is right there, connecting every try, tackle, and team talk. This isn't just changing the game, it's creating extraordinary rugby moments. Vodacom, your front row seats to all things Springbok.
Life is full of moments. Some are small.
Surprise, I got you a matcha latte.
Some are big.
Surprise, we're having twins.
For all those moments, there's the new Haval H6 SUV with a spacious interior and voice command. It's built for big moments. Get it from only $6,699 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank and authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
It took patience, perseverance, and audacity to get my first call up and win with the Bokke. And we did it together. That's why I, Dion Free, partnered with African Bank so I can win big with a 60-month fixed deposit. Patience brings results. Join the bank that backs you. Get a 12.8% return at expiry on your investment. Visit africanbank.co.za or a branch for assistance. African Bank. Audacity to believe. African Bank is a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
702.
702. What's gone viral?
With Kabazela.
Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
I was never very good at this, and I'm terribly impressed to watch the world champion.
Yeah, this is the World Yo-Yo contest that took place in Prague earlier this month, and the winner, I really don't know how to pronounce his name, but he has cemented his legacy as one of the most dominant players in the sport, if you want to put it that way. And this video of him has gone viral. He's got 2 yo-yos in his hands, and he's doing moves that I've never ever seen before. But what I really liked was behind, the activity that he's doing, there's this suspenseful music, and then the crowd who are sitting there watching, every time he does something, they go, whoa, wow. So they're really, really into it. But I must say, I thought yo-yos disappeared completely. I didn't even know there was such a thing as a World Yo-Yo contest, and people still play with yo-yos. And it got me thinking back in the day. Do you remember all those Coca-Cola, Fanta, and Sprite yo-yos?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. Those were really, really good. I mean, you could do, was it walk the dog, where you would then get the yo-yo to like walk on the floor. There was, I think, Eiffel Tower, and then the looping star. Those were some of the the moves that I remember with those Coke, Fanta yo-yos. And I mean, some people still have them. I was looking on a Reddit feed, just doing some research. And if you've still got those, they're pretty valuable because some people want to collect them. So I thought maybe let's put it out there this morning. Do you remember playing with yo-yos? What were some of your sort of go-to moves to impress? And do you still have one of those yo-yos? And, why did you keep it? Do you still bring it out now and then and perhaps show your kid? And they're like, huh? What is that? Maybe there's an app for that.
Sure. I remember this campaign by Coke and you
Yeah,
had these
it was
branded yo-yos. This would have been, if my memory serves me correctly, in the very early 80s. So the idea that I might still have one is, that would be tricky. I was never very good with yo-yo. It was one of those things, whatever. All right, let's put it out there. And that's what's gone viral with Kabazela.
EWN Traffic.
All right, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Amo?
Well, we've got delays in Tembisa on the R21 South between Olifantsfontein Road and the R25, and that's due to roadworks taking place along this route. And if you're traveling towards Bedford View, do expect delays on the N3 South between Modderfontein Road and the Kidulis interchange. I'll have more traffic updates for you. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Explore the wonders of Mpumalanga. Discover the ultimate wildlife experience that brings you closer to nature. Get your adrenaline rush with endless adventure activities. Explore breathtaking 4x4 routes or hike the Blyde River Canyon, the third largest in the world. Unwind with spectacular landscapes and majestic waterfalls like make Mpumalanga your destination of choice. Mpumalanga, embrace the unknown, live the adventure. A message brought to you by the Mpumalanga Tourism and Parks Agency. Mpumalanga, the place of the rising sun. Visit mpumalanga.com for more information.
702. Feedback with Baphelile Sambo.
Baphelile Sambo, did you ever play with a yo-yo?
I actually bought a yo-yo recently. They do still sell them.
Where did you buy a yo-yo?
CBD, Joburg CBD. You'll get them. Small street, wherever. They are there. There's a shop there that sells kids' toys.
Yeah.
You'll find them, including that 99 in 1 game. I don't know if you still remember
What's a 99 in 1
I'll
game?
show you, Bongani.
Describe it.
It's that game, the plastic game with like 4 buttons and then 1 big thumb button.
Tetris.
Yeah, it has Tetris. It has your shooting. It's a 99. So it has all these other games in
99
it.
games within
in
one contraption.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you want to buy a yo-yo?
No, I'm just because why not?
Can you yo-yo?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so tomorrow
you bring
you
yours.
have to bring your yo-yo.
Okay.
And for anybody streaming us on YouTube,
yes,
you're gonna have to prove
that I can yo-yo.
you can yo-yo.
Simple.
Okay.
Easy.
What other feedback do you have?
Bongani,
Yo-yo
702?
queen.
702 lenders are reacting strongly to that Uber story, the e-hailing story and the Maponya Mall incident. Some are saying this is not a new thing. It's not even just the Maponya Mall incident. It's been happening. And 702 lender shared his story that even though he's not an Uber driver, as a private car driver, he was stopped after he took a hitchhiker, was trying to take them home, and he was forced to pay around 2.5. He did that just to avoid any conflict. And after that, he went to the police, but still nothing was done. So he's saying that it's just a huge deal and a huge matter. It's not just the Maponya incident.
For me, it's the fact that this was somebody who was shot, who had nothing to do with this. The passerby who was shot, 2 bullets in the face. Really, really frightening.
Wrong place at the wrong time. And the listeners are also questioning the current driver's license saga matter.
Yes.
They're saying maybe it's time we move away altogether from physical licenses and start to do with digital or scrap away the renewals altogether.
I was schooled by one of our listeners via X because we had a voice note where somebody was struggling to get their PDP and I didn't quite know where that fits in with the driver's license card. KG_R on X said, well, a PDP comes in the form of a license card. That's where it comes in. So I now know. And if you, like me, didn't, well, there you have it. It's 8 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Mthokozisi Mvelasa's family prepares for his burial after he was torched at Maponya Mall, and Edna Lungu's family feud with the Zambian government continues. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The family of slain Uber driver Mthokozisi say they are yet to begin the funeral arrangements as they try to put together funds for his burial. Mthokozisi was shot and torched inside his car by 4 unknown men near the entrance of Maponya Mall in Soweto last Wednesday in what is believed to be taxi-related violence. Another e-hailing driver and a passerby were also injured during the ordeal. A prayer service for the victims was held outside the mall yesterday, where Mvelasi's aunt Zanele Kuzwayo said that the family is struggling to grapple with the attack.
This has reopened this fresh wound that has not even started to heal, but we leave everything up to God. We still don't know how and when we will bury him, as we are still waiting for his body to be returned to us.
Former Defence Minister Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula wants bank records of the businesswoman she is accused of accepting bribes from in exchange for government tenders. Mapisa-Nqakula is charged with 12 counts of corruption and 1 of money laundering. It's alleged between 2016 and 2019 she received over 4.5 million rands in kickbacks from a defence contractor. The case returns to the High Court today. Tabiso Goba reports.
Controversial businesswoman Nombasa Ntondo Ndlovu is listed as a Section 204 witness in this case. This means while she is implicated in the alleged crime, she may be granted indemnity from prosecution due to her testimony. In court records, it's alleged Ntondo Ndlovu paid Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula millions in kickbacks for assistance in directing defense tenders her way. Ntondo Ndlovu also has a separate corruption case which was struck from the court roll due to persistent delays. Now lawyers for Mapisa-Nqakula have requested the state to hand over Ntondo Ndlovu's bank records and the full details of why her corruption case was dropped. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
Parliament's ad hoc committee probing allegations of police corruption made by KZN Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi will reconvene today to adopt its terms of reference. The committee was meant to adopt and finalize the terms of reference last week, but MPs failed to agree on the final draft and postponed the matter to today. According to the draft terms of reference, the scope of the parliamentary inquiry will focus on interference within the police, including executive oversight and alleged operational interference by suspended Minister Senzo Mchunu. Babalondenze has more.
Last week, political parties made several submissions on what should be included in the terms of reference before the ad hoc committee can start its work. On the scope of the inquiry, the ANC proposed that the evidence of KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi that is before the committee must be used as the basis to establish the approach the committee will take on the appropriate witnesses to be invited. Members have also called on Mkhwanazi to appear as a material witness. Legal advisor Andile Tejana told the committee that public participation will form a central part of the process.
This committee will advise us in terms of what form should that public participation take, and of course in our view it would make good sense to invite all interested parties to provide input.
Once it adopts the terms of reference, the ad hoc committee will begin its inquiry and call witnesses in Johannesburg before moving its business back to Cape Town after the parliamentary recess. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News.
And a dispute between the Zambian government and the family of former President Edna Lungu will be heard in the Pretoria High Court this morning. The family is challenging a High Court ruling which ordered the repatriation of Lungu's remains for his burial after he died while receiving medical attention in Johannesburg in June. The court found that there was a valid agreement between the Lungu family and the state which stipulated that he would be laid to rest in Lusaka and that incumbent President Hakainde Hichilema would be involved in the burial. Khomotso Modise reports.
On Friday, the leave to appeal application by the family of former President Edgar Lungu did not proceed after both parties agreed to discuss the matter out of court before deciding on the next move. But hours later, the Lungu family escalated its bid to the Constitutional Court on an urgent basis. This morning, the parties will return to the High Court to give an update on what was decided. The matter is likely to be taken to the Constitutional Court first, and that will inform whether the matter proceeds in the High Court. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $3,343.37 an ounce. The rand is at 17.58 to the dollar, 23.85 to the pound, 20.58 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $65.89 a barrel.
And in the traffic heading towards Bedford View, we've got delays on the N3 South between Morofontein Road and the Gilulis interchange, while traveling on the N12 West towards Diepkloof. We still have got that accident near the Diepkloof interchange, delays from Xavier Street.
And in your sport, Leeds to host Everton in final game of the Premier League opening weekend. South Africa wrap up Chan Group stage with Uganda challenge, and the Proteas shift focus to the ODI series following that T20 series loss to Australia.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 21 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: the family of slain Uber driver Mtozi Mvelase say they are yet to begin his funeral arrangement as they try to put together funds for his burial.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Show up for the finalist who showed up for you. Gauteng's greatest awards with 702 and Yoko. Vote for your favorite local business now on primediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Ever have one of those moments where you just think, has the world gone crazy? What are we dealing with? What's in the news cycle? Earlier, we spoke to advocate Stephanie Fick from Outer about the fact that as South Africans, we're still waiting for new driver's license cards, as now fresh allegations emerge that a transport department delegation, these are the bid evaluation committee members for the tender to come up with a new printing machine, went to France to go and see a card machine that wasn't the one that the company that bid put forward. Right? After 7, we spoke to Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi. I wonder, she's of course the chairperson of the Thabo Mbeki Foundation. I wonder if this is indicative of the two styles of the presidents. The incumbent, President Ramaphosa, at the weekend saying he needs to be given the space to be president. Some might see that as a broadside at Thabo Mbeki, right? But I understood what Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi was saying. Dr. Geraldine Fraser-Moleketi, to you, Muto. She says, look, this cannot be some airy-fairy. We need qualitative data. We need to go to communities. We need to write preparatory reports. We need to engage. We need specifics. You can't just get up there and say, I think. Y'all, I heard. Substance, one is substance. She kept using that word. They were the progenitors of this idea. Now it's been hijacked, presumably by people who aren't thinking about the detail. Whereas the incumbent is all about, let's get people together in a room, the cameras are there, we're seen to be doing something, and let's move on. And these other foundations are saying, well, hang on what basis are you having conversations without the meaty stuff? Doesn't it contrast the styles of the two men? Hey?
It really does. And I would agree with, having the substance, the numbers, because it then speaks to the solutions you come up with. Even if you have people in a room, the sample size does not cover the nation.
Because I think of the 1,000 delegates that went there, I would posit many of them went there to go and see, right? To go and hear what somebody else wanted to say or was going to suggest. Along with keeping the theme of the world gone mad, do you know one of the things that is being debated currently in the US right now? With all the culture wars that are going on. Interracial marriage. I want you to listen to this clip from a couple of days ago, from Friday, right? The governor of Indiana, one Mike Braun, is asked about who should have the final say about interracial marriage in the States. Should it be up to each individual state, or should it be the Supreme Court that decides? Now, I don't want to get into the technicalities of which argument one might support, but I just thought, how is that an issue still on the table? Have a listen.
So you would be okay with the Supreme Court leaving the question of interracial marriage to the states?
Yes, I think that that's something that if you're not wanting the Supreme Court to weigh in on issues like that, you're not going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. I think that's hypocritical.
About Griswold versus Connecticut.
Well, you can list a whole host of issues. When it comes down to whatever they are, I'm going to say that they're not going to all make you happy within a given state, but that we're better off having states manifest their points of view rather than homogenizing it across the country as Roe versus Wade did.
I found that extraordinary, that is something that is actually an issue up for consideration in the US today.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
All right, taking your responses on all the issues we've raised on the show. Evert du Plessis has called us. You with the DA, I'm correct, Evert, and you're the shadow MEC for transport. You want to weigh in on the driver's license issue. Good morning.
Bongani, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I would strongly want to say that the DA agrees with Outa on this matter. You know, that where we sit in Gauteng, we are at this point in time driving the issue around broken traffic signals. And what is one of the reasons why we can't fix them is because there's not enough money in the fiscus. So, yes, we strongly agree that the oversight needs to happen on how this tender came to be at that price. It does seem like fruitless and wasteful expenditure at the end of the day. If it was set at 400 million, it's now nearly $1 billion. And that every cent now that is from the public funds needs to be scrutinized to see where it's going and what it's being used for.
Evert, just because you're on the phone and you've called us in, so you would be the shadow MEC for transport in Gauteng. Am I correct? That's your position within the DA?
That's correct.
One of the issues we've been discussing over the last few days, of course, is the horror incident that happened at Maponya Mall just last week, where a driver was shot and killed and his car set alight. We understand a passerby had 2 bullets in her head, in her face.
Yeah.
If you were MEC for transport, how might you deal with the issue, particularly around the taxi industry and the fights over routes and the kind of drama that we saw at Maponya Mall last week?
This is, like you said, this is a long-coming issue. We know, when was it with MEC Vardy? Years ago, he was chased around in the legislature by the taxi guys. Formalization should have happened a long time ago. I know there's a number of conversations happening with the taxi industry, but no, that formalization should have happened a long time ago, and that a roundtable discussion where the do's and the don'ts need to be discussed is long past. We need to do that as soon as possible. And what we're seeing now with the taxi wars, it is so bad. I see that MEC Kidibone is going to Maponya Mall this morning to have another discussions. But no, we as the Democratic Alliance feel strongly that the taxi industry needs to, we need to sit down and come up with some kind of a plan.
Yeah, but that's what Kidibone Diale Tlhabela, your opposite number, the MEC, said to us. But part of her frustration is that quite often they'll have dialogues or engagements with representatives of the industry, and as they come out, others in that same sector are doing the very opposite of what was agreed not to be done in their engagements. I mean, how long do you keep engaging with a sector that is open to criminality in this way?
And I agree with you, and I know that is what Kidibone has been saying. But the fact of the matter is that we've got a huge problem when it comes to law enforcement. So it is not only the conversations happening, but it's how we attend to it, how we deal with it, how we put in place.
Yes, all of that clear to me. I want to know, if the DA were in charge, what would you do differently?
Well, at this point in time, what we would be doing differently is we would be looking at strengthening law enforcement, making sure that law enforcement plays their part within the taxi industry, and that when we sit down with the taxi industry, we don't walk out of meetings with empty promises.
Shouldn't you also be at Maponya Mall?
I received it this morning, so I might be on my way there, yes.
Shouldn't you have gone to go check for yourself, as somebody who wants to convince Sowetans and others that you will do a better job?
Yes, like I said, I received your message this morning and that one. So I think it starts at 10 o'clock.
All right. Eva du Plessis is the Shadow MEC for Transport in Gauteng, a member of the DA.
Let's talk.
We're listening.
Morning, Bongani. So when you apply for a PDP, they issue you with a new driver's license card, just that it has an endorsement on it confirming that you have a public provisional driver's permit. It's actually an actual new driver's license application, just that the endorsement lasts for 2 years. But you do get issued with a new driver's license card. It's not a separate document from the driver's license. It's a from Abban.
Bongani, the story about this machine that prints driver's licenses, that delegation was either very dumb or very clever. Very dumb, that's obvious. Very clever, because they've taken some bribes. That's what we do in South Africa, don't we? Especially delegations of officials that go overseas.
Okay, but Bongani, are we still having a conversation about a machine that has to print plastic cards? Honestly, Bafit, this day and age, we don't have a machine. You go to a bank, you open up an account, they give you a machine, a card right there. Bongani, you get a new job, they give you an access card with your face on it right there. And we are talking about a machine, a license card printing machine in this day and age. Okay, it's fine.
Regarding the driver's licenses, can't we get the CSR to actually build us something? I mean, they have a good reputation. Hopefully, they're not captured as yet. Anonymous.
It's a great suggestion, hey? The CSIR, they could come up with something. One card machine for the entire country. All these years later, weren't we talking more about industries or brands that we thought would be around for a long time? That's the question Mutero Kharipe was asking a little earlier on this morning. Maybe it's time for these driver's license cards to go the way of Musica, right? To go the way of, what was the other one? Look and Listen. Hey, remember Look and Listen? To go the way of Videotown. How are we still here in 2025? All fair questions.
EWN Traffic.
18 after 8 o'clock. This Eyewitness News Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance in partnership with 702. I'll tell you who's not going anywhere anytime soon is Amo Ramila, here to tell us about why there's slow traffic on the N1 North.
Bongani, it's due to peak time delays. This is between Malibongwe Drive and Rivonia Road, so please be on the lookout there. And then in 4 ways, delays along Winnie Mandela Drive towards the N1 exit. And this is due to faulty traffic lights, so please be on the lookout there and be patient. We've also got a very shocking, rather disturbing message from one of our listeners. Take a listen.
Morning, EWN team. I just want to report corner Boysons Road and Trump Street. Just before you get into the M2 highway, there's two armed guys trying to rob people stuck in traffic. While you're stuck in traffic, both of them have firearms. Maybe if you can just tell the people on the EWN traffic update to be careful coming up by Boysons Road and corner Trump Street getting onto the highway, to watch out for two guys with firearms trying to rob people stuck in traffic. Both of them have beanies on and a brown jacket. Thank you.
Boysons and
Trump Street. This is just as you get towards the M2 highway, and I can
that should
see
be
already
fairly close to the Boysons police station.
Very close, and there's delays already on this route, so please be on the lookout there and try to avoid if you can.
All right, I think I'm going to get our producers to call the Boysons police station and forward that voice note and see if they can get officers there on the ground. That is shocking.
Shocking indeed.
Look, wherever you are, we always say you are our eyes and ears. Thank you for that voice note. Be careful if you are in that area. If you can avoid it, presumably do so. In the meantime, we'll try to do our bit to get the cops there on that spot ASAP. Gosh.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Outsurance made it possible for us to travel more with the money that we save. 700
125. This is really real.
You are the biggest saver we've ever had.
2,794 Rand a month. It was the easiest switch ever. Get real.
How is it that OUTsurance provided the solution for you?
918 Rand is what I'm saving.
Incredible.
Go to outsurance.co.za now for a 10-minute quote that could save you thousands. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Don't miss the magical sounds of the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's symphony season. I mean, some of the artists that are going to be there are going to be absolutely amazing. Mayan Chan, right? And featuring the acclaimed artist Kaigo Mokawa. The program will include, of course, Saint Saëns and the Piano Concerto No. 5, Schumann Symphony No. 4, and so many more. It's happening on Thursday, the 21st of August at 7:30 p.m. at the Linda Auditorium. This is the Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra's Symphony Season Concert. Book your tickets now at Quicket to avoid disappointment.
Do you know what's hiding behind the colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front of package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front of package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by the 30th of September.
In a world where traffic is the enemy of progress, one man is in a race against time, through the noise, through the chaos, chasing something no GPS could find.
Accident detected ahead. Expect a 30-minute delay.
Not today, sweetheart. Not today. Write your own story with the Haval H7 from only 6,799 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's and to book a test drive. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of Westbank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
The Money Show.
Weekday evenings at 6.
On your next Money Show, ABSA's new and freshly minted CEO, Kenny Fechler, will take you through the company's financial results. MTN's and Tungela Resources CEOs will also deliver their latest figures. We also catch up with the Minerals Council on the Mineral Resources Development Bill. 1 in every 4 loaves of bread sold in the country is made in Sasco. The GM of that bakery, Cornel Vermeulen, will join us on now How I Make My Money feature.
The Money Show
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA CIB, backing the Ideas Fund by advancing capital to African infrastructure investment managers. Your story matters. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702, The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Catch up with business from elsewhere around the world. Adam, let's start with that big summit in Alaska. Donald Trump now meeting the Ukrainian president, who's bringing some company.
Yes, he's bringing some mates because he doesn't want to happen what happened last time. Remember the Oval Office?
Of course,
in February, wasn't it? 6 months ago, yeah. And he basically got outflanked, Zelensky, by President Trump and Vice President Vance. And this time he's going with some mates, the British and Italian prime ministers, who are very different politically, but they're behind Ukraine, it seems, in a joint kind of move. The French European Commission and Finnish presidents, the German Chancellor, the boss of NATO, they're all going to be there. This hasn't happened before where, I mean, 2 days ago, this meeting wasn't happening, but today they will all be there basically pushing for Donald Trump to agree to what they thought he'd agreed to before the summit in Alaska, which was to push Ukraine's case or else Russia. And now he seems to have gone back around again and not announced sanctions against Russia, even though they have made no move at all towards a ceasefire. Let's put all that sort of political games playing to one side. The basic fact is that overnight, there was another series of missile and drone attacks that have killed people in Ukraine. There is no sign of Vladimir Putin abandoning his war aim. So for Donald Trump to say Volodymyr Zelensky could end the war if he wanted to, just like that, means, yes, you can capitulate, you can surrender, And isn't that true through history? If only Troy had surrendered instantly, if only Britain hadn't bothered fighting the Nazis, etc., etc. Well, I'm not quite sure what Donald Trump's game is, because there's no deal to be made here, is there?
Yes, indeed. When you didn't fight them on your beaches, if you didn't fight them on your streets, as Churchill implored. I thought it was quite noteworthy that even though Trump was supposedly the host on Friday, it was Putin who started that press conference and spoke for much longer than Trump did. So maybe that says something. Now, Adam, the world of the Terminator might come true after all.
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of warnings, don't we, about artificial intelligence and where it's taking us. But I guess you kind of sit up and take notice when it's one of the pioneers of artificial intelligence, Dr. Jeffrey Hinton, speaking at a conference in Las Vegas, an AI conference in Las Vegas, just in the past 2 or 3 days. And he has come up with a load of startling stuff, bearing in mind that he's the guy who kind of invented it and now is telling us that there is a, as he puts it, 10 to 20% chance that AI will wipe out humanity. Makes you take notice that within 5 to 20 years anyway, AI will be smarter than any human being. And there's all sorts of stuff we think, well, they'll never be able to do that. Will they really be able to drive a car? But according to him, absolutely, AI is heading in that direction. So he has suggested a thing which I guess is it's a little bit iRobot, isn't it? That you need to put into all artificial intelligence programs a kind of mother gene, whereby AI is told and learns that humanity is something it needs to look after, like we're children in the playground and AI is the teacher at the corner. It needs to look after us rather than think, how do I take power from them and then wipe them out? Let's hope they begin to do that. Otherwise, we might be going down that 10 to 20% route.
Oh, it might still treat us like nanny, like it's our nanny, particularly if we don't follow its rules. Either way, Adam, I think we might be in trouble. Now tell me, what's happened to the good old sticky toffee and apple crumble?
Well, apparently on their way out, certainly in terms of people making them. So according to English Heritage, it's had a good look at the Great British Pudding, and they've said that only 2% of British households now make a daily homemade dessert, which is probably good for the waistlines and obesity and a bit less sugar. But the fact is that 2/3 of Britons never eat them at all. We're talking rice puddings, bread and butter puddings, anything spongy, fruit tarts, trifles, treacle tart, jam roly-poly, all that stuff. Anything with custard, frankly, I'm in. But 2/3 of us never eat them at all. Once upon a time, our mums and grandmums were always making them, a steady decline since the 1970s. And now the under 25s, 5 in 6 say they're not bothered at all. They'd rather buy an ice cream or have a ready-made whatever, or not do a dessert. So just in the interests of British culture, hand on heart, with a blood pressure monitor at the ready, I made a proper English trifle at the weekend just to do my bit for a bit of culture. And maybe it's true of the world. We're all moving away from homemade stuff.
Yeah, but what do they say in that competition? Is it store-bought? And come dine with me, I think it is. More people around the world will continue making apple crumble. You just won't think of it as British. Adam, with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
Right, MTN's reporting strong results, even though the growth isn't quite what they would like.
Yeah, telecoms giant MTN says it delivered strong results for the year to end June. The group says service revenue went up 23% to 105 billion rand. Its fintech and data divisions also performed well as more users bought into its services. Fintech revenue, which includes its MTN Mobile Money or MoMo service, saw an increase from 25% to 37% over the past year. MTN says it now has 298 million users in 16 markets. One of those key markets is Nigeria, boasting 87 million users and boosting earnings as a result.
Gosh, that's a lot of people, hey?
Yeah.
Stadio, the education group, what are they saying?
Stadio also doing well in the market. Private higher education group Stadio says it expects to see half-year earnings rise by as much as 32%. In a voluntary market update, that CEO Chris Foster says the company saw an overall growth of 11% in contact learning, while the long-distance learning was up 8%. Overall growth in student numbers hit 50,878 for the half year. Stadio, of course, owns institutions like AFDA and Lysoff School of Fashion.
Your indicators.
Rand at 17 Rand 58 cents against the US dollar at this hour, 20 Rand 59 cents against the euro, and at 23 Rand 85 cents against the British pound. Price of gold up close to 0.5% now at $3,349 an ounce, while platinum is also in the good at $1,337. Brent crude at $65.94 a barrel. That's your morning business. Stephen Grotes with more this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Sfiso Zulu, what you got?
Thanks, Mark. Good morning. The South African Human Rights Commission believes there's prima facie evidence that Sports, Art and Culture Minister Gayton McKenzie has violated the Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act. The Commission has received complaints against McKenzie for old social media posts that resurfaced recently after he indicated he would sue podcasters for disparaging remarks made against coloured people. The Human Rights Commission has now sent an allegation letter to McKenzie before determining its next move. Lindsay Dentlinga reports.
Patriotic Alliance leader Gayton McKenzie opened a can of worms when he took aim at the Open Chats podcasters earlier this month, prompting his own comments of the past decade to be scrutinised. While McKenzie says his social media posts and comments have been taken out of context, the Human Rights Commission says it's opened an investigation into these posts and McKenzie's alleged xenophobic utterances. In a statement, the Commission says depending on the response it receives from McKenzie, it might institute proceedings against him in the Equality Court. The Commission says given McKenzie's position as a minister and a member of Parliament, his conduct is expected to conform to ethical standards. In response to the Human Rights Commission letter, McKenzie said the truth would emerge. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
The SACP has hit back at critics of Defence Force Chief Maponya for his remarks during a recent visit in Iran. Maponya was at the center of a diplomatic storm last week when Iranian media reported that he appeared to publicly co-sign South Africa to stronger political and military ties with Tehran. Despite mounting pressure to account for his comments, the SACP has come out in his defense. Thabo reports.
A few months ahead of his retirement, SANDF chief Ruzani Maponya is now facing calls to step down over his comments. The SACP has since come out batting for him in what the party labelled as anti-Iran hysteria and geopolitical hypocrisy. In a statement released at the weekend, the SACP says South Africa's ties with Iran are not out of the ordinary. The Department of International Relations and Cooperation distanced itself from Maponya's comments. President Cyril Ramaphosa called Maponya's comments ill-advised. The SACP says government's muddled response is concerning, accusing government of scapegoating the SANDF chief. It says giving in to the whims of Iran's foes to appease other countries sets a bad precedent. Nogukhanya Mdambo, Eyewitness News.
Midvaal Mayor Peter Teixeira says the municipality should be used as a blueprint for transparent and effective governance in Gauteng. The DA-run municipality continues to defy the province's challenges after achieving an 11th consecutive clean audit for the 2023-2024 financial year this year. Teixeira took over office from former DA member Bongani Bingwa, also hailed as the poster boy for good governance and during his run as mayor between 2013 and 2021. While he says he takes a dim view on most Gauteng municipalities, Dada Morero's Joburg is by far the worst. Teixeira says infrastructure master plans are part of why his municipality is on the top of its list.
I've got a reservoir, a spare 10 megaliter reservoir. I've got enough electricity. My roads are not riddled with potholes because of this infrastructure master plan and good planning where we plan 10 years ahead, and we ensure that, from now, whether I'm here or not,
the master plan continues.
It continues. It outlives me.
And dozens of people are still missing after a boat accident in Nigeria. Officials say the boat carrying about 50 people capsized on Sunday morning while ferrying people to a market in Soweto State. 10 people have been rescued while 40 are still missing. Boat accidents are common on Nigeria's poorly regulated waterways due to overcrowding and poor maintenance, particularly during the annual rainy season when rivers and lakes overflow. Last year, at least 16 farmers died in a similar accident when a wooden canoe carrying them across a river to their rice fields capsize. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 21 and 22 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays along the R21 South. This is in the Tembisa area towards the Kempton Park, coming out of Olifantsfontein Road. That's due to peak time delays there. And please be on the lookout if you're traveling along Boysons Road towards the M2 exit. Please approach with care there and please be on the lookout.
The top story this hour, the Human Rights Commission believes there's prima facie evidence that Gayton McKenzie has violated the Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act.
At Premier Hotels and Resorts, business travelers staying alone enjoy a complimentary drink every night of their stay. So, whatever your tipple, it's on the house at any of our 24 hotels and resorts nationwide. Book today at premierhotels.co.za.
Naked people are great dancers. They can break it down to anything from soki to amapiano. That's because naked people get car and home insurance online in seconds, which means less time wasted on insurance admin and more time working on their whip and their nene for maximum wedding dance floor domination. Go to naked.insure now, get a quote in 90 seconds, and get naked, people. Naked Financial Technology is an authorized FSP.
Ever driven 6 hours to get to a place that should have taken 1? Skip the detour with Sem Air, a proudly South African full-service airline, connecting you to 16 top destinations, whether it be for business or a break. Baggage included. Onboard snacks, always. Comfort and service, count on it. Because when your time matters, your airline should too. Book now at semair.co.za. Sem Air, more from your airline.
Franchise your future with the vision to invest, the mindset to follow a proven system, and the drive to grow something of your own. Meet the minds behind smart investments and proven franchise success on Franchise Your Future with Relebogile Mabotja, brought to you by Cash Converters on 702. Plus, you could win 10,000 Rand to kickstart your journey to Franchise Your Future. Hit primemediaplus.com now. And every Tuesday from 1 p.m. you can catch Franchise Your Future on Afternoons with Relebogile, brought to you by Cash Converters. Your money, your momentum on 702. Let's walk the talk.
702. WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning, Bongani. Jerem from East London. Regarding the driver's license machine, what I don't understand is, so we got one machine to print cards for the whole country, and then we put it under pressure by making people renew their cards every 5 years. I mean, if you go to the UK, their driver's license is valid for 50 years. Why don't we make the time longer that a card is valid for? Because all that we're doing when we renew the card is testing a person's eyes. We're not making sure that they can still drive.
Hi, Bongani. I don't understand why we have to buy a card printing machine from France. 10 to 1, they've ordered that same machine from China at a quarter of the price, and now they're selling it to us at R1 billion. So if we went directly to China, I'm sure we could have get something similar for less than R1 billion. And I think somebody is pocketing some money in this process.
Morning, Bongani, the team. Let's just get Temu. Temu will get the license in 3 days. So I don't know. Angas.
What would the shipping cost be? You still have to pay a little bit of that. But I get the joke. I get the humor as far as that is concerned. I remember when Fick was transport minister, one of the things he did put on the table was the idea of extending the period in which your license card is valid. But I do think it's a fair point. How else would some of these entities and departments make their money? I love the idea of asking the CSIR to help.
EWN Sport.
All right, 20 to 9. This EWN Sport is brought to you by R1bn Corporate Banking. Ready, set, cash flow. Anthony, I'm not too insecure to say.
You can just call me Ant and we can keep it moving.
Anthony Teixeira. Did I say it right?
Anthony Teixeira. I've never heard it better. But we'll start with the Proteas.
Say that to all the girls.
After taking 9 wickets in the T20 series loss to Australia, Kwena Mapaka has now been added to the Proteas ODI squad. Temba Bavuma wasn't part of that series at all, but says he liked what he saw from the youngsters.
I think it's always exciting when you see the young faces. Obviously, the big talk, a guy like Brevis, putting up his hand and showing what he's capable of. So, again, excited to see what he can also bring within the one-day stuff. And all the other guys, guy like Kwena who's been added to the squad, faces like Wandre Pretoria is getting to understand them a bit better.
The first of the 3-match ODI series begins tomorrow morning. Pakistan have let Baba Azam and Mohammad Rizwan from the Asia Cup T20 squad to have fallen out of favour and not featured for the nation since December, despite being 2 of the best cricketers from the country over the last decade. The Asia Cup begins at the end of the month in the UAE. Switching to football, where we've had 9 of the 10 fixtures of the opening round of the Premier League season, which leaves just Everton against Leeds. Kickoff at Elland Road is at 9 p.m, while across the weekend we've seen Liverpool, Man City, Spurs, newly promoted Sunderland and Nottingham Forest win. All 5 of Arsenal's away wins against Man United in the Premier League have actually been 1-0 victories, as they claimed another one last night. Mikel Arteta thinks that his Gunners' grits got them through that match, as they lacked the usual free-flowing football.
Yeah, it was a tough match. We're always going to expect that. I think they have improved a lot. They have some great individuals as well that caused us some problems. We haven't been at our standards in some basics as well, and that has put us in the back foot in many moments. But the team showed incredible spirit, because after making probably more mistakes than usual, we constantly were seeking for that solution immediately, and I love that from the team.
African Nations Championship qualification to the knockouts will be on the line when South Africa plays Uganda in the final group game there. They find themselves just outside the knockout spots and a point off of their opponents, who sit top of Group C. Kickoff is 7 p.m. In rugby, the Springboks' shock loss to the Wallabies Saturday has seen them relinquish number 1 in the world rankings and slip down to 3rd. Scott Robertson and the All Blacks are now top with the Rugby Championship opening victory in Argentina, while Ireland are second despite not playing at all. South Africa's 39-week run atop the tree officially comes to an end at noon. And in case you missed it, Dricus du Plessis was out-wrestled and lost his UFC middleweight title to Khamzat Chimaev. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
Feeling some lag in Sector 3?
Copy. Optimizing working capital. Ready. You're approaching a tight corner. Cash flow pressure ahead.
Low on liquidity. Supply pressure is building. Set.
Deploying cash injection in 3, 2, 1, flow.
Nice move. Better supply chain control.
Lab time advantage. Faster cash cycles, leaner inventory, and optimized working capital.
Ready, set, cash flow. Corporate banking from R1bn. R1bn, a division of R1 Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider.
Olympians, CEOs, neuroscientists, wellness icons. This isn't just another conference. It's a mind revolution. The Mind Matters Summit unites the world's brightest minds in mental well-being. This is your upgrade. The upgrade your life's been waiting for. It's happening at the Cape Town ICC on the 4th of September. The Mind Matters Summit. Change your mind, change your life. Book now at mindmatters-summit.com. Brought to you by Prime Media Cares.
My guy, tell me how date night was.
Bro, I'm telling you, my arrival was too clean. That sporty exterior, the 1.5 turbo engine, just turns heads.
But what about date night?
Yeah, it was chilled. But the Jolly on Pro, it's on another level, bro.
Sometimes the drive is the best part. The Haval Jolly on Pro from only $4,299 per month. Visit gwm.co.za for T's and C's. GWM. Go with more. Brought to you by GWM Finance, a division of West Bank, an authorized financial services and registered credit provider.
Time for a performance review of my FNB Gold business account. Giving my business up to 30% back in e-bucks at Pick and Pay. No other card does this. It's real money back on expenses. I can even use e-bucks to buy supplies from Take-A-Lot. I must give you a corner office, but you're a bank card.
The FNB Gold business account. No other card works harder for your business because saving you costs is worth it. FNB. Help changes everything. TCs and earn rules apply. FNB, a division of R1 Bank Limited, an authorized FSP and credit provider.
EWN Traffic.
8:45 on the nose. Let's wrap up the morning's traffic. We've got an update on what's happening in Boysons. Yes?
Well, at this particular moment, Bongani, it's delays towards the M2 exit, obviously due to peak time delays. And if you're traveling on the M2 as well, please be on the lookout and drive with care.
All right, so we'd have a voice note from someone near the scene who has updated what we heard earlier from one of our listeners. So have a listen to the latest.
Hi, Bongani. There is a police presence here. It seems to be quiet. I'm not seeing any commotion, but the police are here at the robots.
So presumably those thugs, and that's what I'm going to call them, who were trying that a little earlier on, have disappeared. It would have been even better news if they were in a police van somewhere. But as always, we appreciate 702 Landers giving us that information. So some trouble earlier near Boysons and Trump, just as you get on the highway, we were told of people who were armed and approaching motorists with their guns. That seems to have calmed down. So thank you as always, 702 Landers.
Well, thank you indeed, Bongani. And if you're traveling on the N3 South, be on the lookout for some delays between Linksfield Road and Van Buren Road, also due to peak time delays. I'll have your next traffic update right at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Corporates That Care promotes and encourages corporate leaders and really all citizens to walk the talk for a better South Africa. Catch it this Wednesday, 10 to 9, featuring Pesto Princess founder Kathleen Quillinan. We'll be in conversation, and we do this on Wednesdays to highlight efforts of companies and brands dedicated to building our country. Corporates That Care is a Prime Media Cares initiative with 702 and Prime Media Outdoor. 702, let's walk the talk and together make a difference.
Dear Journal, trying to be an adult day 3471. Fridays at work used to be great. 3 p.m., laptops off, music on, even a cheeky beer. Now I just sit with Teams open and pray that Monet from finance doesn't message me at 4:57 p.m.
Hating the corporate 9 to 5? Get covered at pineapple.co.za. It's easy and like 19 Rand a day, so it's 100% the insurance for you. Underwritten by Old Mutual Alternative Risk Transfer Insurer Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP. Premiums are risk profile dependent.
Choose the best. The new Huawei Pura 80 series. The master of photography. A super sensor with precision zoom. Stay sharp from dawn to dusk with a superior 1-inch ultralighting camera and ultralighting macro telephoto lens. The master of color, enhancing every frame with vibrant color and incredible clarity. Tricky lighting? No problem. Take portraits against the light with every face perfectly illuminated. It's more than a phone. It's a professional studio in your pocket. Go beyond with Huawei Pura 80 series.
Coming up
on the Clement Manya Taylor Show
on 702.
12 minutes before the Clem Zozo show starts. Good morning. Clem
Good
Zozo.
morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Had a great weekend. I feel rested.
Me too.
Ready to tackle on the week.
Yeah, same here. I slept so much this weekend.
Really?
Oh my God.
It's a good thing.
It's a good
thing to do. All right.
So we
what
are
does the
fully charged for the week.
Yes. What does the fresh and fully charged Clement have on the menu?
So on the open line, we're going to start with the national dialogue, just reflecting on what transpired over the 2 days of the national convention. We'll also talk about what a disappointing sporting weekend. I mean, we were losing on every front. The Springboks, cricket, Drekas. I called him Derkas on Friday, but Drekas also lost.
I must say, Drekas, based on the things he said, I wasn't so...
Yeah. So we'll talk about all of that, including of course the meeting between Trump and Zelensky. Hopefully it's going to be much better today.
He's coming with reinforcements.
He's coming with people. Yeah, it doesn't.
Which is not happening.
Not again. So all of that on the open line, and then at 10 o'clock we speak to the South African Human Rights Commission. They're saying that Gayton McKenzie has a case to answer, so we'll speak to them. And we'll speak to the Patriotic Alliance, a party that Gayton McKenzie is part of. At 10:30, we do our last installment of our series about successful land restitution cases. Today, we're looking at the Bela Bela Community CPA. And then we wrap up the show at 11 o'clock on our Family Matters feature by discussing generational cycles. How do you end family dysfunction? We often talk about generational trauma. So where do you even begin to be the one that breaks that cycle?
What kind of cycles are you talking about?
Could be anything. It could be alcoholism. It could be just bad attitude that has been transferred from generation to generation. Because, I mean, there are many times when we will be sitting at home and we see, let's say, for argument's sake, a family that says, yo, abantwana bayaphuza, they're drinking a lot. And there's references made to people who came before them who used to drink just as much. So sometimes we need to look at the patterns that we see in our families, where they come from, and be the person that breaks that pattern.
All right, Clement Manyatela between 9 and 12.
Let's rewind 6 years, when Twitter was still Twitter, not a letter of the alphabet. TikTok was simply the sound your clock made. And Zoom just meant enlarging a picture. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
The team's on a roll today. Let me focus on payroll. Duty calls in the kitchen. That's why I have a business insurer that is agile and on the ball all the time on all things. I chose My Way Business Insurance, getting 24/7 emergency service and saving on my premiums, plus my business assist to handle my admin.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
Hey SA, entries for FlySafe's Business Booster are closing soon. So if you're a small local business that needs help taking off, enter at flysafe.co.za, tell us about your business, and you could be one of 6 standout enterprises to win 10 return business class flights plus brand exposure across our various platforms. Whether you're mixing, matching, crafting, or inventing, we want to help your business skyrocket. FlySafe, for the love of fly. T's and C's apply.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes before 9 o'clock, the Clement Manyatela show up next. But in the meantime, let's talk the arts, shall we? Get ready for something both thrilling and educational. The fantastic, legendary Woza Albert returns to the stage, and they're going to be captivating audiences in Pretoria on the 19th of August. Particularly, their focus is on grade 10 learners. I think this is a set work for many of them around the country, and it's happening, as I say, on the 19th of August, presented by Abantu Creatives, and it stars Hamilton Dlamini and Tulani Mtweni, and a really dynamic theatre collective. And as I say, if you're a teacher for grade 10 learners who are doing this as a set work, well, I think this is something that's important for them to come and see. I studied Woza Albert back in my varsity days, and it's set against a turbulent 1980s. That's the backdrop. There's an array of characters, and it asks the simple question: what might have happened if the Christ had returned during the height of apartheid? And I'm so pleased to tell you that we've got the co-founder and producer of Abantu Creative Projects with us. Ipileng Matlako is on the line. Ipileng, a very good morning to you, and thank you for your time.
Good morning, Bongani. Thank you so much for having me.
Firstly, let me ask you about Abantu Creatives. Tell me exactly who you are and the kind of theatre you are producing.
Okay, so Abantu Creative Project is a non-profit company founded by myself and Bongani Benedict Masango in 2022. We are a theatre and arts organization based in Pretoria. We're very much passionate about empowering the youth and emerging creatives to become confident professionals while producing groundbreaking theatre, film, and live experiences resonating locally and globally.
All right, so you've brought Woza Albert to life again, and I understand it is a set work for grade 10 learners around the country. Why is this classic production, classic play, still relevant for a time like today?
So we did actually revive it. The actors Ntate Hamilton Dlamini and Abuti Tulanim Tweni are acclaimed and seasoned performers. And so they've been performing this play on a myriad of stages across the country. I know for us, Woza Albert is a legacy show, and the play being performed during the apartheid era, I know it's what makes it very iconic and very special. The performers did their best to keep the style, and they kept to the script, because I guess it's important that the learners are aware that, you know, as a country, we are still feeling the effects of that system. It's going to evoke the learners' awareness. One of the things I know that they can look forward to is a Q&A session that they will have with the actors, so that they get a more in-depth detail for a better understanding of the play.
I mean, when Barney, Simon, Percy Mtwa and Bongani Bingwa came up with this play, it was a very different South Africa. And there's always this, you know, tension, I imagine, when you bring back a piece like this to either locate it in its time of origin and it becomes then a lesson about memory and remembrance, or it can become something that resonates even with today's audiences, because as you say, we're still living with the effects of that era. Which for you is more prominent?
Sure. I feel like, you know, history is history for a reason, right? You can't necessarily move forward as a human being without having confronted some of the history that sort of leads you to being. And so I think this play being performed in Pretoria, which is, you know, a very big, beautiful city, is very important. The most fascinating thing actually about this process has been to realize that a lot of Hoër schools or Afrikaans-based schools have actually booked to come and see the show more than just, you know, a lot of English-based schools. So that has also been very eye-opening for us as an organization.
All right. Let's talk about it. Abantu Creatives, you've got a specific venue in the heart of the capital on Helen Joseph Street. Where exactly is it, and how do people get tickets?
Okay, so tickets are available on web tickets for a public viewing, which is on August 23rd, this Saturday. But during the week, we are open for school bookings. And so if schools want to book, they can give us a call or email us on info@abantucreative.co.za. It is there's 012 Central. We would have to sort of send you like a link, like a pin. And so when people request for directions, we will send them the correct directions so that they can get there safely and on time.
All right. And of course, I'd imagine you can also make all kinds of arrangements for parking or buses or whatever if people are coming as a big school group. All right. It's on specifically the 23rd of August. But between now and then, you're saying for special bookings, they just need to get in touch with you. Just give us the touch point again.
Okay. So they can get in touch with us at info@abantucreative.co.za.
Info.
This is for performances.
No, go ahead.
info@abantucreative.co.za. This is for performances for this week, 19th to the 22nd, for school bookings. And on Saturday, August 23rd, we have a public performance, and they can go on web tickets. Tickets are 120 Rand per person.
All right. I think that's all very clear. Congratulations. It is a classic production. It's a story that speaks to the heart of where we come from as a country. Thank you so much for talking to us. That is, of course, Abantu Creatives there. We spoke to Ipeleng Keamogetswe Matlako, who is the co-founder and producer at Abantu Creatives.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Look at the time. It's 9 o'clock already. And that brings us to the end of this edition of 702 Breakfast. Until tomorrow, my friends, ma zenetol.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Gauteng Transport MEC Kidiboni Dialitlabela is set to meet with the management of Maponya Mall and law enforcement officials in Soweto today in continued efforts to bring stability after an Uber driver was killed. Mtokozi Simvelase was shot and burnt. In continued efforts to bring stability after an Uber driver was killed. Mtokozi Simvelase was shot and burnt inside his car last week in an attack e-hailing drivers have pinned on the taxi industry. Another Uber driver was wounded alongside a